Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Oh, it's Wednesday night. You know what that means. Mark Order Podcast here on the Shining Wizards Network. Right now, it's the two live crew of the Mark Order Podcast. Two for me, two for you. It's Ryan Schlong and AntMoney. Apparently, Kate's running late. Shocker, shocker.
Late Kate.
So professional.
You know,
they say Sam Roberts is the last professional broadcaster. I think it might be Kate.
I don't know. Professional would be here. Kate of podcasts. I'm sorry. You think she knew the time it starts?
Well, you know, I'm not her manager, so I can't speak to that. Anyway, it's episode 57 of the Mark Order Podcast here on a Wednesday night. We got the chat going. Hello to everybody in the chat. Gordon Post. Look at fucking Tony Z hanging out at 10:17 at night when he should be asleep.
We sure he's still awake? Because that was posted before we started.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. That is a very good fucking point, Ryan. I don't know if he's still awake. He very well could have fell asleep at his keyboard. Because you know he's not using his phone. He is sitting at his computer if he's doing anything.
To be honest, I like sitting. Like, I don't like sitting in the chair, which is why I'm on my phone a lot. But it's so much easier to type on a keyboard.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I prefer typing on a keyboard because my fat fucking fingers. A lot of errors with the spelling on the phone. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. What's new, Ryan? How you doing?
I love that we know there's someone else coming, so we're trying to buy a little bit of time for her to.
I'm not trying to buy time. Fuck that. No, I just keep getting distracted.
I'm good. Up and look who shows up.
Yeah. Speak of the goddamn devil.
I told you I was gonna be a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me check my texts. Okay, yeah, be there shortly. Have to take care of Buster. Kate, take care of Buster? Did you kill him?
No, the wind almost killed me last time. Very nice picture, Ryan.
I was asked by Mrs. Money what is my background, so I had to show off that it is the Dynamic Dudes.
I thought this was just your thing now, where you just go away for
it does scare me that I'm pretty sure the highest YouTube views we got was the one where my face isn't on. Like, that's kind of insulting.
Take a hint, you know? So
I thought this was the moneymaker. Apparently not.
No, you know who's the real draw is Sergio.
Sergio is here.
Sergio! My best friend. You smell!
I feel like Sergio whispers to Ant at night.
Definitely. Without a doubt.
It's not good to have here at the same desk I work at, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, Sergio, you could take care of this problem for me right now, right? Like, you can smash this fucking computer as we speak, right?
And Sergio doesn't? How rude.
Well, you know, most of the time, I think he sleeps during the day. He comes alive at night.
What is Mystery Men, where her dad's in the bowling ball?
Oh, yeah, that was the Mystery Men. Yeah, you're right. God, I forgot about that movie.
That was one obscure references.
No, I mean, there's still some references there, but that was like one of those movies where it was supposed to be huge, right? Like, there was a giant build. It was supposed to be a blockbuster, and it tanked.
It definitely tanked.
And it's gone.
But it didn't earn like cult classic because it wasn't bad for what it was.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't what they like. It wasn't like a big superhero movie. It was, you had Kel Mitchell in there as the guy who could only be invisible if nobody was looking at him.
Right. Which kind of makes sense. And then who wasn't it? Wasn't it Pee Wee Herman who like could
Yes.
fart or something like that?
Yes, the
Ryan,
spleen.
your background isn't backgroundy enough. We can't see them.
I know what Kate's getting at.
She just wants you to disappear, Schlong.
No, I want to
Fine.
be able to see them.
Fine,
They're so
I see how
heavenly.
it is. This is just gonna be my gimmick now. We're gonna see how long this lasts.
I'm fine with it, to be honest. How are you, Aunt?
Good. Definitely good.
And it's baseball season, and it makes me want to go to a baseball game and then an ROH show. So they got to figure stuff out with ROH quickly because I want a road trip really bad.
Well, I agree. I would love to do a road trip to a baseball and a wrestling show. That will be able to happen if you go to Forbidden Door. I know that much. The White Sox are in town that weekend. It is possible.
Everybody, go to my Twitter account. My tips are on.
No.
I need money to go.
No.
We
It's
can
hustling.
Split it. Hell yeah, I'm hustling. Let's go.
Hustle on your Twitter machine.
I did. Last time I did that, it made $2.
See, there you go.
So Venmo made $2.
All of your loyal fucking fans, $2. They fucking rubbed all their nickels together, and that's what they came up with.
I appreciate it. It's $2 more than I would have had, right?
Very true.
We'll take it. How are you, mister?
Well, I was telling Ryan before the show, I'm in pain. Kate, I sent you the text message. I sent you the picture. I forgot Ryan was on it because Matt had texted us about something else. And I said, yeah, I can't make it to, Thursday last week. I had a softball game. I'm in the rec league. I'm in a church league, believe it or not. I know you're saying, how is that possible? The field did not strike fire. Like no lightning struck the field or anything like that.
Well, I'm sure it struck fire when you stepped on the field because you're just like, boom.
So let me lay this out there. I'm an average at best player. My thing is I can pitch, and not a lot of people pitch. So that's always my thing. It's like, oh, I could pitch. You need a pitcher? Like, I'll play for your team, whatever. It just almost guarantees me a shot. But I was doing something for Baby Money's Little League, and I was asking a couple people, like, is there a rec league in town? I wasn't 100% sure, and everybody said no. But one guy said, oh, I play for a team. So I said, sure, I'd love to play. And I said, listen, I'm not great. I'm average, and I'm not I don't hit for power despite what I look like. I don't hit for power, but I'm okay and I can pitch. And he said, well, we need a pitcher. So that's kind of got me into the team.
Did they previously have a belly itcher?
They had some sort of, itcher, maybe not a belly itcher.
Okay. Because they probably wanted a pitcher and not a belly itcher. That's the reason I ask.
Very true. So either way, Kate, when I showed up to the field, I saw the guy I knew, I met, and we're walking to the field and he's saying, yeah, this should be fun. We won the championship last year. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That should be fun. And then he said something about, he was talking about the team in the league. Cause I was like, yeah, I was asking just, do you have a 1-1 count when you step in, all this stuff? He's telling me about it. And he then leads me into, oh, it's a wooden bat league.
Hell yes.
Well, yes, hell yes. But generally, Kate, that means this is fucking serious.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
So I was very fucking nervous. And so, I get out there and you could tell the funny thing is everybody says, it's laid back, but it's sort of competitive. It's very goddamn competitive.
Motherfucker, you got wooden bats. You are a serious softball league.
I'm like, this is serious.
The championship.
Yeah. And this is competitive. And I think in that moment, I even said, oh my God, I hope I didn't oversell myself because I'm not that good. But anyway, I started the game. I pitched. I did okay. And then my first at bat, I was surprised. I actually hit a line drive single. Ryan will be back, by the way, people. He's having camera issues. So I get up, I hit a line drive. Now, I should also preface this, Kate. Leading into this game, I was looking all over my house, trying to find my baseball socks, my sliding shorts, and my pants, because I sort of take it seriously, because if you're going to play, you're going to play, right? So I couldn't find any of that stuff, but it came time to leave, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to put on whatever I got. I didn't have sweats, so I just put on shorts, and I got on the field. Well, you know, as you do, you play the game and you react as you would without any regard for your body. And I, after I was, the guy behind me hit a fly ball to the outfield, but it was shallow. So I went halfway. And
as you're supposed to.
Right. Oh, my God.
Damn it.
Oh, my God. If you're not watching this show on YouTube, you are fucking up. It does sort of look like he's talking. Oh my God. So anyway, the guy behind me, Kate, hits a fly ball to shallow center, or like left center. And so I go halfway, like you're supposed to. And I'm taking a couple extra steps because the first base coach is even going, he's not going to make it. So I also thought he wasn't going to make it. Well, the dude dove and caught the ball. So now I have to go back to first, and I fucking slip. So now I'm up trying to get back to first as fast as I can, and I can hear the ball coming, and I slide. Fucking slide feet first, and the ball goes out of play anyway. So I'm on second, but my entire left shin and side of my calf are fucking road rash right now.
Oh,
Who slides in a softball game?
Ryan, you react as you would play the game. You don't, you fucking play the game to win, man. You get back.
It's all about the game and how you play it.
That's right. There you go.
I guess I'm just not competitive enough. I wouldn't be sliding.
Well, either way, I went.
Well, some of us are built different, Ryan. So
yeah.
Listen, I'm built to the level where it's
doing.
really tough to line up the mouth here, but I'm doing my best.
Ryan, you are literally a clown. So I wouldn't expect you to slide. But when I played softball, did you ever get to the point where you had like that awesome tan of like high socks, small gap, sliders, shorts, and then
No. There's no gaps. There's no gaps.
There's when you're a girl and you have sliders. So I would have like the socks and then a gap where my knees are. And then like the slider shorts and the shorts, and then we would have wristbands, and then just like farmer's tan t-shirt. So I had the weirdest tans for a lot of my summer.
What are sliders?
They're like a padded compression short so that when you slide, you don't bruise your hip and shit.
I don't remember them from when I played, but I stopped playing right before I got into high school. So
yeah, I usually if I'm not wearing the pants, I still wear the sliding shorts and long socks. So this wouldn't have been an issue. Did not have them. So the funny thing is, as I was going out that day, I think I even said to like Mrs. Money, I really wish I had my socks. I really feel like, I needed these socks tonight, and I sure as shit did. It was all fucking bloody the rest of the night at the game. And I came home and got in the shower, and I almost went through the goddamn ceiling.
Oh,
and then I didn't know what the fuck to do. I put some gauze on it and wrapped it up, and
antibacterial stuff. You gotta
Neosporin the shit out of that.
Well, I made that mistake night one. I did not put any sort of gel on it. So in the morning when I did go to change the fucking gauze, it was stuck to my shin. And
that's
that
not fun.
No, that was another.
Did you peroxide it?
No, I cleaned it out, soap and water. I did a little bit of research, and they said peroxide was not the way to go, but soap and water, fine. So I did it in the shower, soap and water, and then I covered it up. I had some actually like spray, the anti whatever spray. And as soon as I sprayed it on that night before bandaging it, you can ask Mrs. Money, Kate. I said immediately this was a mistake. I thought I was gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
I don't think I slept more than an hour night one.
Oh no! Did Brandon Cutler come out with the spray?
No, I wish he was here. I would have had him spraying my leg all night. But
I hear that shit burns when it goes on the cold spray.
Well, it's cold. It doesn't burn. It freezes.
Well, like if you have like open wounds and stuff, apparently it just burns.
Oh, well, of course.
That is for Cass from Body Slam telling me this because he tried it on his chop marks and
no. Why would you do that?
Because Cass is wonderful and an idiot.
So anyway, I've been in some pain this week because even though I have been wrapping it, and I have been putting like Aquaphor or some sort of Vaseline on it. They said you don't need, dude. If I had to use Neosporin, I'd go through a tube a day. That's how big this fucking this burn is. So it is healing. It's just very goddamn painful because I basically have no skin.
When's your next game?
Tomorrow, and I am not playing. And it's a double header because our first game got rained out. So I'm going to be like, sorry, guys, I can't fucking do it. And I might even be out the following week.
Can you pitch but not bat or run?
No, Kate, I swear I can't push off. It's my right leg. I can't push off. It really fucking hurts.
Fucking
Can you sit and pitch?
How am I going to sit and pitch?
I don't know. I could underhand it from sitting.
Not like
not
6
from the
to
rubber
12 feet. And
I don't know. I didn't play softball.
That shit, you have to react fielding wise too sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Mrs. Money said, "Are you gonna play? Just pitch, and then somebody can run for you." And I was like, I don't know how I'll be able to move if something comes towards me. Like that'd
be bad.
So
when you go out to the mound, do you come out to "Here comes the money, 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 money"?
Wait, for real though, do you get walk-up music or no?
No, this is, if it was gonna be anything, it would probably be church organ.
Bro, it's a wooden bat league. That is serious.
I'm not playing for the Savannah Bananas. So
please, if that was the case, I'd be a season ticket holder.
Well,
I watched a baseball movie because it was on yesterday.
What movie?
Little Big League was on television.
I'm gonna tell you, Kate. I know you love that movie. I fucking hate it.
I will say this: it is perhaps a little long.
I don't.
It is.
It is not one of my favorite baseball movies.
It is inferior to Rookie of the Year.
Very
okay,
true.
We can have that debate all day. I feel like every baseball movie is the best baseball movie. Like of that like C-rated genre, like your Angels in the Outfields, your Rookie of the Year. I'm not talking Field of Dreams.
Whoa, no. Okay, hold on. This is a question for Doink and for Kate. And all of them together, no separating them in any sort of way. Kate, we'll go with you first. What's your Mount Rushmore of baseball movies?
Oh, ouch.
And I know this is a wrestling podcast, so, cool it, people. We'll get there. We got plenty of time. We've got 8 hours to get to the wrestling.
Field of Dreams, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Little Big League, or not Little Big League. No, that doesn't make the Mount Rushmore, sadly. Field of Dreams, A League of Their Own. I feel like Major League is on there.
It's your list. I mean, you're telling me.
I'm going to say, it's tough. I'm going to say Major League, The Sandlot, A League of Their Own, and Field of Dreams, I think.
Okay, Schlong, what about you?
I'm really pissed off that she said my Mount Rushmore.
That's your exact Mount Rushmore?
They're literally, if you're going to ask me the movies that I would watch, like I'm not a big Bull Durham fan. I know people love that. Just never
hate
really
that
did
movie
anything for me.
Hate it.
Field of Dreams is probably the tops to me. I can remember when I was 10 years old, I had a friend over and Field of Dreams was on TV and my friend goes, "What's this? I've never seen it." And my dad looked at him and goes, "Get the hell out of here."
Ryan, be serious. Do you cry when you watch that movie?
No.
Doesn't get you like that?
I haven't seen it in a while though. Now I'm older and appreciate my dad and all more, so maybe I would cry now. Whereas because when you're young,
on loop until Ryan cries.
Now my question is, guys, do you want to know how I got these scars?
And what's your Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
I will certainly put Field of Dreams on it. And yes, I do cry when I see it.
Thank you for having a heart.
Rookie of the
Fuck
year,
you.
Okay.
The Sandlot,
Sandlot.
and see, I hate Bull Durham. I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I just don't think it's great. I don't put. What was the one you said on there?
A League of Their Own?
I just.
God.
It's good,
Boy
but it's
to
not great.
slap Jimmy Dugan.
Dirt in the skirt. Dirt in the skirt.
You have to also like
I'll put.
a women's baseball fan growing up watching that movie was just like the
No, I
coolest
don't have a
women's
problem
baseball
with
fan.
the movie. I just don't put it on my Mount Rushmore. I'll go Major League. Major League is certainly top tier for me.
Yeah, that's like of the comedies, I feel like the one that gets in there every time.
Now, what about Major League 3? Back to the minors.
That doesn't make it, but I'll tell you this: I do love Major League 2.
Yeah, no,
I
it's Major League
love
2 is
Major
good.
League 2.
Major League 2 is great, and I don't remember this from Major League 3, but a hot tip, if you are a little big league fan, there is a framed Lou Collins jersey in somebody's office. So they kept the baseball universe like all in one, which I respect
That's
and
neat.
appreciate.
All I think
I
I
just-
remember about that movie is I think the team was the Stingers. Were they the Stingers? Does that sound right?
Something like that, yeah.
And it was
just remember-
Scott Bakula was
I
like,
remember
the main guy.
they treated Scott Bakula like he was someone who was in the other movies. And I'm like, you guys realize that he's coming from nowhere. We haven't seen him before.
Well, maybe he wasn't, Ryan. Maybe he just leapt into one of the main character's bodies, and we were just waiting for Ziggy to beam him out of there.
Now I'm singing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Ziggy, if you're out there, can you hear me? You guys have never seen It's Always Sunny when he sings?
Yes, I have seen It's Always Sunny. I just hope anybody picked up my reference.
Yeah, it's Quantum Leap.
I've got
Okay,
very
But that was the joke of It's Always Sunny.
Yes, I know.
And now I'm
I'm
singing the song he sung.
Yes,
your
I know.
face
I'm with
is your mouth is not in doing.
Yeah, this is just distracting
So
now.
weird.
This is yeah. I will say this: there's a lot of people in the chat. The first person to bring it up was Mike Peterson. How have you all forgotten Mr. Baseball? I love Mr. Baseball.
Not for me.
It is just not on the Mount Rushmore. Also, Bad News Bears getting no love. Yes, I do love the original Bad News Bears. The remake shit. But it was just one of those movies where I didn't always love it. Like, you know, when you're a little kid, you kind of don't really get a lot of it. It's sort of slow and boring. I have much more appreciation for it now. But, you know.
Bad News Bears falls in the same category, and they're not related, but you'll see why in a second, as Apocalypse Now to me. I saw it when I was sick, and now when I see it, I get that same sick feeling, so I just could never appreciate it.
I get that same sick feeling at about 10:10 every Wednesday night.
You bitch.
Nobody forces you to be here.
And like, you mean we're like 10:20 your time?
Oh, yes. That's Hollywood time.
Oh,
10:20.
wow. At least I'm here. That's more than we can say for Matt.
You show up in the third and you leave in the sixth. Classic.
She's an
I
LA
stay
fan.
till the end.
Sometimes. Oh, my connection. Oh, my camera.
When did I leave early? The only time I left early was Matt one time goes, "You can leave," and I went, "All right."
See ya. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boss said I
fault
can
that,
go
though.
home early.
That is buying into a bit that you have to buy into.
Thank you. It was committing to the bet, and I got like an extra half hour of sleep that day. Win-win.
Totally.
But there are no bad baseball movies. All baseball movies are great because baseball
Except for
is
Bull
great.
Durham.
I truly, because I didn't love it probably the first or second times, I don't think I've watched it like as an adult probably ever. So I should give it like a...
And The Fan. It was a terrible baseball movie.
I don't think I saw it. I don't
With
think
Robert
I saw
De
it.
Niro?
3000.
Mr. 3000 was not great.
Mr. 3000 was not great in a different way, though.
Wait, I actually have one and I'm forgetting the name of it, and that's a shame because it is one of my favorites. It's
Marky
with Brendan
Mark.
Fraser. What's the name of the movie?
Marky Mark has it. The Scout.
The Scout. Oh my god.
With
American
Al
classic.
shit.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. Hold on, I'm looking it up. The Scout.
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks, yes. Albert Brooks is so fucking great, and I do like the Scout. It just doesn't make my top 4.
Yeah,
The
of
reason
course.
that it's not quite on my Mount Rushmore, but it could be because that was a Comedy Central movie growing up. So I saw that a lot. And then apparently, what's his name? Otani decided to make it reality. So it was like one of these things where
He's like the best
thought-
thing in the world for
I
the
was
game.
like, this is unrealistic. And then all of a sudden, there's an
Playing for
actual
the
player doing
wrong
it.
team.
Oh my god!
For Love of the Game was very good.
Sorry, I'm reading Asian Joe's. How dare you classify Summer Catch as a good baseball? Who classified Summer Catch as a good baseball movie? But now I'm mad that he doesn't think it is. It's an excellent movie. It has Jessica Biel in it.
It's not a good movie.
Listen, it's Jessica Biel. That's all I can remember.
Now we know what Ryan looks for. Just Jessica Biel.
I also want to clarify about Little Big League. I know it's not a good movie.
It's not true. You love it.
There's a difference between me loving something and knowing whether or not it's a good movie. I enjoy watching it. That does not mean it's a good movie.
You know what my favorite
Flicks are
part?
not good movies, but I will watch many of them.
My favorite part of Little Big League is when they walk to Billy Haywood's house at the beginning of the movie. He lives in a nice home, but his grandfather is probably a billionaire.
He would piss on Jed Clampett. That's how rich he is.
So, like, that's not the house he lives in. Like, come on.
Maybe he's a modest billionaire.
Yeah, maybe he cuts his own hair and drives a modest car to save his millions.
There you go.
Oh, Kyle Sparks is trying to help us out here. So we gotta really appreciate this. Here's your tie back to wrestling. The baseball for the $1 million arm is also based on Veer Mahan, who finally came.
No.
That is a good.
He came everywhere.
We're not talking about
He
Veer.
came so hard.
But it is wrestling related.
$1 Million Arm's not a bad movie, especially if you like the Hamaconda.
Guys. Kyle, God bless you. If we were worried about staying on track as a wrestling podcast,
It's off the rails
We're
already.
30 minutes in and have yet to talk about wrestling.
If that was the case, this podcast would be a half hour long.
As
But we
is
can.
tradition.
We can talk about wrestling if you want.
Well, actually, I have Mrs. Money. I don't know if you guys know. She's a huge Tony Nese fan. Huge.
I heard that.
She is.
So am I.
She is working with Mr. Nese on her health and fitness.
What?
Yeah, I was like, "Excuse me," and then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, my trainer sent me a message," and I was like, "I need to see it. I want to make sure this is on the up and up."
Whoa.
Wait, does
We're
he have
gonna-
like a health and fitness thing?
Yeah. Yes. She's on a like a virtual thing with him. Like he sends her a plan and she follows the plan and she's,
Right. If he
doing her
starts
thing.
suggesting a horizontal tango, it's not a dance routine. I'm just letting you know.
I said,
Does burn a lot of
next time-
calories though.
I said, so next time he comes to Jersey Pro, you need to certainly say, "Hey, I see you're going to be in New Jersey. I will also be in New Jersey. There's your in. Now you have an in."
I like
Which
that.
I
Aunt
think-
setting up his wife's rendezvous.
He has an in.
think-
She has an in, so Tony Nese can have an in.
There it is.
I think that was the real reason why this is going on. I think it
Is
was
it-
just so that.
Do you guys
we
have
can-
the hall pass thing? Is like she on like the okay
No.
list? Is he on the okay? Okay, damn.
No,
Because I would really be encouraging it.
I don't, and that's funny. It came up. We were going to see Fozzy, and we were listening to something on the radio, and they were talking about. I don't remember what they were talking about. I think it was like something to the effect of like people who got Me Too'd, and who would you be crushed by if your person got Me Too'd and you really wanted to fuck them or something. And that sort of put us into the conversation of who's like on your big list. And it really took me a long time to find people who would be on like my list of like who would I like to have a one night stand with. Not even a who got Me Too'd and would crush you. It just evolved into who is on your list. And it did take me a while to figure out who was on my list.
For your ECW one night stand?
I guess
It's tough. There's so many
you mean WWE
attractive ladies out there
one-night
that you're
stand.
like.
Oh, that's the
It was
If you're
WWE.
talking- if you're talking
at
about-
that time.
if you're talking about the one that matters, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
I don't
Gina-
appreciate this. Hold on, I don't appreciate this Asian joke. Aunt Cuck money. Get out of here.
I didn't realize that I guess Gina has a thing for Anthony's.
Yeah, seems to
Look at
be.
that.
I don't
Alright.
go by Tony. Maybe I should start going by Tony,
Maybe
and
you
I can
should.
move up on the list.
And get 2 less abs, because I think Tony Nese has 2 less abs than you, I would say.
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
to, try to up my ab game from 1 to 2, and I think I can get there.
As a watcher of Dark and Elevation, I know you do too sometimes. Actually, I know you watch when Niece is on, so you probably heard the commentary where they
did
were
watch
comparing
this week.
Niece's I don't think it was this week. It might have been like last week where they were comparing Niece's abs to Jade Cargill's, and they're like, I think he's got like one less ab than she does.
It's it's steep competition over there.
A lot of Tony competition in this house. But yeah, so Mrs. Money's been on the Tony Nese train, the fitness train.
Right.
Oh, dang. Get it, girl.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted on the progress. So far, so good.
I like it.
I am not. She is not showing me the private messages, though. So I'm not.
You definitely don't have anything to be concerned about.
Not at all. Why there's
No.
pictures that she's getting? Don't worry about it.
Wait, what? What?
Do we have rankings this week?
There are rankings, and we'll get there.
Kate, funny enough, they changed the style, and Ant got excited.
Very
about
excited.
It.
Very excited. They changed the way they do the layouts, and I think now they actually call them power rankings.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Like it.
We'll get there. First, did you guys did you guys check out Rampage Friday night?
Sure did.
Listen, Rampage over the past few weeks has been really decent television.
Yeah.
It's not like crazy good, like some of the Dynamites that we've gotten, but it has been much, much better lately. They had after the Forbidden Door announcement, they did have the announcement that Adam Cole would face Tomohiro Ishii in the Owen Hart Cup. Adam Cole wound up moving on, but boy, what a match that was.
That was
Ishii,
and a protected loss, so it was good.
Of course. And Ishii, boy, that guy I would not want to fuck around with. He looks like he will hurt you legitimately.
Somehow like not that big of a dude, but is the biggest dude in the world at the same time. Like that dude is not the largest guy in the company, but he's just an absolute brick house. Really, really fun match. I thought that was.
He doesn't have a neck.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
No.
It's but I loved that match. I felt like Cole really stepped out of kind of his comfort zone. He kind of had to stylistically, like it was very submission heavy, and he just had to work differently than he normally does. And I thought he did a great job telling the story in that match. That was really fun. Agreed with you. These past like few weeks have really gotten cranked up. This was like a little bit of I don't want to say down week because it was still great, but I think it was just like a little less important or something. But still a great episode of television. It's such an easy hour.
Go ahead. Who pulled this up?
Mrs. Money goes, I usually leave when wrestling talk starts because the likelihood of Mr. Money talking about me goes down significantly. So I just wanted to say we appreciate that.
We appreciate you, Mrs. Money, and I will bring you up once every 15 minutes that you stay.
Yeah. So now you have to
I'll just say, Mrs. Money. I won't even give a context. It'll just be like a weird drop we throw in there.
We should get some sort of, like a nickel like Danhausen every time the name is said. That's how I make my monies.
Your human monies.
We also saw they were advancing the Jericho story to the match that night. Jericho and the boys couldn't be in the house for the match, so we saw that.
Oh, yeah.
happen. Oh, Cruise Director Mike is here.
Can't be in the building.
Get out. Also, guys, this was huge news. Fucking Hook finally spoke.
He said words.
He said multiple words.
And a deeper voice than I thought.
Way deeper. Wouldn't it have been great, though, if Hook was like, hey, you want a match? You've got a match, mister. You know what I mean?
Tyson.
He sounds like Ariana Grande.
Yeah, just soprano.
Hey, guys, we're going to fight.
That was such a fun little segment where Danhausen was crushing, his chips. What did he say? Like, is that how you like your magical chips or something like that?
But it actually pissed him off.
Wait, are you guys team ridges or no ridges? This is very important.
It depends.
It depends.
Normally, no ridges, but Ruffles makes a flavor called all dressed. That
Ooh,
is
what are they dressed
fantastic.
with?
Don't know. It's something Canadian. It's almost like a barbecue and some other flavors, but it's fantastic.
That
Other than that, I
sounds.
don't really love ridges.
I'm pro ridge. Where do you stand?
I mean, you don't get in this shape by actually caring whether it has ridges or not.
Right.
You gotta have a preference, though.
No, it's the flavor that I care about. I don't care whether it has ridges or not.
I will say this: if I'm scooping dip with
Well,
a potato chip, you need a ridge.
That's what the ridges are for, I think.
That's what ridges are for.
Structural integrity.
It's true.
Also, I was telling Ryan before we got on the air, Kate, it was a proud day as a father in the money house. I was looking on social, on Instagram or something, and that clip came up in my feed with Danhausen, and Baby Money saw it, and he thought it was great, and he goes, I said, "Who is that?" He goes, "Danhausen, very nice, very evil."
You're doing something right over
Doing
there.
it right. We're doing it right.
Hey, Gina, or Mrs. Money. Sorry, kayfabe. FMK, Christian, your husband, Tony Nese.
Doesn't marry her husband.
Definitely getting killed.
Causing trouble tonight.
Oh boy, I'm getting killed. Anyway, so the Hook Danhausen thing took off.
Beautiful.
To the next level. It was perfect, and we found out a little bit later what's going to happen. So we'll talk about that later. Lance Archer squashed Serpentico, just getting ready for his match with Wardlow tonight, and we will certainly talk about that. There was a Tony Nese hype video, and this is a straight shoot. We had to rewind the tape and watch it again. And I mean, like 20 minutes later, we had to rewind and then go back to live TV. Straight shot.
I love it.
Why'd you have to do that? To make sure you caught the nuances of his acting?
He was, and I quote, again, a vision in blue.
He does look really good in those blue trunks.
Shut the fuck up. And no Asian Joe. We did not watch in half speed. It was just normal speed.
Not together, you didn't.
Shut it.
Look, she didn't even try and kill you, though.
Not
Didn't
yet.
want to answer.
He wouldn't participate.
Real
quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to go too far when we moved on. Are you still talking about Rampage, or have we moved on?
No, we're still on Rampage.
Okay,
we keep
good,
getting sidetracked, but you know.
This was a Rampage thing. So Serpentico, I tuned into his Twitch feed on Friday, and he played up the whole time that he had sent Tony Khan a text message asking to get out of the match. And he, throughout his entire feed, like, nope, not here. Nope, no. I just got to give him appreciate. Like, he wouldn't give up the bit that he did not want to fight the Murder Hawk.
He does that all the time, too. Like, of trying to get out of... I think it started with Hook. But, like, him sending these text messages is such a funny thing. I love it when wrestlers shit post. I find it very funny.
Well, he got the shit kicked out of him against Lance Archer. But, I mean, did we think anything else was going to happen? Dude's going to just bump for Lance Archer, and we're building.
Always be Fuego. Fuego can only die so many times. Sometimes it's got to be Serpentico.
Everybody dies.
I just want you to know that there was a time when I was the insufferable one on this podcast.
Well,
you still are.
Congratulations. You're slightly behind.
Slightly less insufferable.
Ever so slightly.
That's a t-shirt someday.
We did get Daniel Garcia and Eddie Kingston, and the Jericho Appreciation Society was banned from ringside. So was Eddie Kingston's crew, but it was more so to keep things even. between Eddie and Daniel Garcia. Eddie wound up defeating Daniel Garcia, sending a message to Jericho. By the way, guys, I did read today. They said that the TV version was 9 minutes shorter than what happened in reality in Pittsburgh. So that match was edited for time. I guess whatever happened that they cut out was not, important, but it was edited.
I would never have known, so kudos to them.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
it
good match.
must have been when they went to picture in picture and then full screen commercial, and they're like, just cut it right here. Nobody will care.
Good thinking.
Let's see, what else did we get? We got our interview with Keith Lee and Swerve backstage. They were pissed off at Taz. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm interviewed backstage, and Tony Storm talked about beating them both in the Owen Hart tournament.
Ricky Starks also called them Keenan and Kel, which I thought was very funny.
Very true. He did. I'm sorry. I forgot about that.
Keenan and Kel.
And then we were into our main event, Jade Cargill versus Marina Shafir. And Jade Cargill defeated Marina Shafir to retain her championship. She is 30-0, and they celebrated with the baddies and balloons coming down from the ceiling. Not a lot of balloons. Not a big budget.
Not lined up properly either.
No.
There was more popcorn wasted than there were balloons, I would say.
Very true. I didn't love that. I didn't love that match at all.
It was like match. It was fine. I didn't think it was particularly outstanding or bad one way or the other. Like, I thought it was decent, which is better than it being offensively bad. I just don't know what opponent is the right one to pull something more out of Jade. Like, she's getting incrementally better, but she was very green to start. So, like,
yeah,
something to expedite that would be good. But, like, I think Marina's going to be a force to be reckoned with once she's a little bit more settled into her style and an opponent. But I did appreciate that Jade is better when she has someone in the ring that she can feel like she can throw around. And I felt like she could do that with Marina. Like, I think she's a little less gentle, which is very good. So it was a good, I thought it was a good match. I didn't find anything bad about it. It's just difficult at whatever that is. And at what time would that be? 10:50 at night or something on a Friday is kind of rough, but I liked it decently enough. It was fine. It doesn't feel like a championship-y, I guess, is my only thing.
I liked the match. I liked Red Velvet laid into Marina Shafir when she was doing those punches over the barricade. I thought that was a real well done spot. Listen, I don't think I think we're a while off before Jade is delivering classics, but I don't need that from her. That's not who she is. She's so entertaining that if she can deliver matches like this, if you put a story behind these matches, then I will be extremely happy. Like, she delivers okay matches, and if they had a story, they'd mean a hell of a lot more. I like that they put Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet with her, though. That is going to be fun. One, I like that they're using Kiera Hogan because she is really good and she needs to be used. And Red Velvet probably was due for switching up her attitude. They have a lot of faces. They could use some good mid-level heels, and she fits perfectly into that right now. I'm with Kate. I don't know who pulls the classic out of Jade, but I also now wondering who takes the belt off her. Is it the new signing we all hope it is, or are they gonna put someone they have over? I don't know. Could be Statlander and her new gimmick. Who knows?
Yeah, I keep saying that if it's in the company already, it's Statlander. If it's out of the company, it's Willow or Athena, I think. But I don't know what more there is left to do in her run. Like, I don't know what there's more for her to prove, because she is gonna have a while work-wise, right? Like, I think she's in a place where she can drop and still be a main star. But I do like Kiera and Red Velvet. I wish they would justify why they're suddenly with her. Like,
well, Kiera doesn't really need justification because she didn't have anything happening.
Yeah, Velvet does, though.
Velvet does. I will say they were trying a slow burn with Velvet, I think, and then I think Jade did the baddie section, which sped things up, and I think Layla Hirsch going out really sped things up because they lost a heel when they desperately need heels at a certain level. Because if you think about it, their heels are Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Jamie Hayter, Jade Cargill, and
Serena
then the
Deeb.
bunny. Well, I forgot Serena because they haven't put her in there. Serena, and then the bunny was like your only like mid-level heel.
And Chris now.
Gordon Post brings up a good point here. He said maybe Britt takes it from her, and I kind of thought the same thing. I thought maybe they just use it, with Britt to make it seem super important. I mean, it does seem sort of important with
I think it's
Jade having it at 30-0, but it would go next level if Britt takes it off her.
My thing with that is it's a workhorse title, in my opinion. Like, it has a bunch of defenses, right? So having somebody that just went through the entire roster, I feel like that might not be great because you're just inevitably going to run into matches that you already had, right? So if they're going to face turn her, that could get interesting. But yeah, I don't hate the idea of her having it. I just feel like when they had such a Challenger of the Month reign for her, having her go through all the people she just went through is not going to be compelling or effective.
I just don't know who you put it on. That's the problem is, unless you're going to do something a little different with it, I just don't know who you put it on. It's just, sort of a title for show now.
It really does fit that it either should be coming from the outside Athena or Statlander because she has the new attitude. You can justify her now. She always had the skill. Now you can justify that she has the aggression needed, and that's what takes her over the top. Like, I think that you could justify that storyline wise. Of course, outside, it would make Athena if like she came in and won it. And then she could put on some really good matches with that roster. So you don't actually need a whole lot of story for her because she's kind of the opposite of Jade. Jade needs a story because the matches are just going to be okay. Athena's going to put on really good matches, so you don't need the story as much, which fits the TBS title.
Yeah. Or Ruby, or you could give it to Toni Storm, or they have options. They need to find the right story to make it happen. Like,
I think they're setting up Toni Storm versus Britt Baker. I think that's going to be a feud.
That looks like it's going to, but that could be for a title. That wouldn't make me upset. But it's just tricky because you have the tournament going on, right? And then a title that feels ready to drop. So is what it is.
My only point to some of these names were the fact that I don't believe they're going to do anything with anybody in the tournament beyond the tournament right now. So if you would put it on Toni Storm has to get knocked out of this tournament before she can take this title. They're not gonna do something to derail from the tournament storylines that they're building, between Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm, and we'll talk about that as we get into Dynamite. But yeah, Friday night show, while it wasn't like an amazing show, the quality has definitely gotten better. They've been trying to fit more into 1 hour than they have in the past. It used to pretty much just be like 3 matches, 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Now they're trying to fit in interview segments. They are putting more than 3 fights on a card in the night. Sometimes it feels a little crowded, but they are trying to show you more. So it seems like they're maybe trying to show the casual audience on Friday night more and maybe get them over to TBS on Wednesday nights. So they're using it to their advantage. And
I think whenever they do those live ones, they have to put on a good show because it's not anchored by anything else, right? So I think that's super fun. I just hope they get it out of the 10 to 11 o'clock slot because that's just going to be hard no matter what they put on there, I think.
It was amazing though. So I and then this can close us out, but I was watching, obviously I watched Friday night. So we were waiting for it to come on, and Central Intelligence was on, The Rock and Kevin Hart. Fantastic movie. But Central Intelligence is on, and then it goes into Rampage. And in the front row, somebody had a sign that said, "Stay tuned, Central Intelligence next." And I went and checked my I went and checked the schedule, and it was on after fucking Rampage. What a great sign. Somebody had to go check the cable listing.
Yep.
And make the sign.
Incredible. I love that.
So funny. It just had me laughing in the moment. I was like, oh my God, somebody had to do their homework.
That's so great.
So, well, guys, we're going to get into Dynamite. We're going to get into the new rankings. But first, did you guys know that we're on a network here?
No, we're not. What? Since when?
Since forever, Kate. We're on a little network called the Shining Wizards Network.
Wait, I thought the Shining Wizards was a podcast.
It is. It's the B show of the network, but it is a podcast. Of course,
we're the A show, though. Right?
Yeah, we're the A show.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Got
A
it.
show. Why would I be anything but the A show? You know what I'm saying? You
AntMoney.
put the money on the A show.
AntMoney, A show. Yeah.
Makes sense. So anyway, Shining Wizards Network.
Of this network.
Yeah, Shining Wizards Network. Formed by the Shining Wizards. They've been doing mediocrity podcasting for over 10 years. It's wrestling talk and sometimes talk about wrestling. Monday nights at 7:00. Maybe you'll catch Millionaire Mayor that
Millionaire Mayor.
It's a good TV show.
Millionaire Matt there, because you're not going to see him here on Wednesday nights.
Obviously.
He loves to live in the mediocrity. Anyway, but Kate, did you know that it's a whole network? Did you know there's other shows that are part of that network?
I had no idea. I wish I could find out more about them.
Well, Kate, you're in luck. Why don't you strap in and stay tuned? And when we come back from this break, we'll get into Dynamite, the rankings, and some of the news and notes from this week. But before that, here are some of the other shows that are part of the Shining Wizards Network.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years. But when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantemradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. And it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out, head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Horns up, everyone. One on the Shining Wizards Network. Be sure every Friday to check out Radioactive Metal. Radioactive Metal is one of the longest running podcasts on the interweb. And every week we bring you a fist full of metal, including interviews with all your favorite artists, discuss all the metal news, and feature the best tunes on the air today. So grab a Lemmy, join your cool Uncle Snowy and co-host Aaron in the pit.
Your recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting from the current to the way back. Join the impact player Phil Brea and the Portuguese man of war Choppy for the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Live every week on rantemradio.com. Get all our episodes over at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Audio Boom, Google Play, ShiningWizardsNetwork.com, and TurnbuckleThrowbacks.com.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin
and Vince,
your hosts of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s, where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast, hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? You want something awesome? Check out Wrestling Night in Canada here on the Shining Wizards Network. We're 3 Canadian metalheads uniting for the love of pro wrestling. Every episode we go over all the latest news and special events with the odd unique interview as well. So grab a cold one and check out Wrestling Night in Canada, eh?
Oh, we're back. We're so back.
Back again.
And the PC
Pod is
police
back.
have not beaten down our door. We can be sure of that.
Twitter, Elon.
Yeah,
Thank
they need to
the
change
Lord.
that ad.
They
Really
need to
In a couple different ways.
Well,
It's the
I think
only
we've
time
said
I
it.
miss Matt.
Yeah, I think we've said it. Those other shows don't jive with our viewpoints here on the Mark Order podcast, but we do the job for the network, right? We're the A show. We got to do the job.
It's true. It's true. We'll put other little shows over because we're so nice.
Yeah,
Breaking
A,
news.
B,
Mike
yeah.
Peterson is eating a grilled cheese.
I'm a little jealous.
I'm a lot jealous. I want
Here's the
grilled
question, though. Here's the question. Now, I don't mean to take us down a rabbit hole, and I don't know why the goddamn comments always get fucked up when I move them. Grilled cheese. Ready? I'm going to put it to you two first. Grilled cheese. Do you use butter or mayonnaise?
butter.
Schlong?
Butter.
It's butter. It has to be butter.
No, you guys are doing it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mayo?
you're very much doing it wrong.
You
No.
are disgusting, and I judge
100% doing it wrong.
Nope, that is not true. The mayonnaise gets it so crispy, and it doesn't leave it with a mayo taste. And if you have a flavored mayo, it can kick it up to a different level.
So Anne is trying to use something but not get the taste of that something, whereas butter gets it crispy, and you don't have to worry that there's a taste there because it's just good.
you. Gross.
Well, you guys are doing it wrong. I hate to tell you.
I honestly, bread and cheese. I don't need anything other than that. I don't need butter.
Well,
either.
okay, now you're wrong.
Yeah, you're just wrong altogether.
It's not my preference. I'd prefer butter, but I'm not a heathen, so I would not put mayo on it.
To anybody in the chat who
I'm
is
seeing all butters.
skeptical, just take a little bit of mayo. You don't slather it in mayo. Just take a little bit and cover the outside of the bread
No.
and then grill it that way. It's
People in the chat,
fantastic.
they know.
Don't do it, people. Don't do it.
I
people.
have
Do it.
a question.
Yes.
Butters or Professor Chaos? That's the real question.
Ooh, I'll do
for what?
Professor Chaos.
For what? I mean, it depends on what I need.
Nope, I'll just do Professor Chaos all the time.
Just straight up.
All the
There was
time.
no-
Straight up. I don't know. Lulu. I got some apples. Lulu. You got some too.
I got something in my pocket for you.
Butters entertains the crap out of me.
Butters is great. I would break Professor Chaos if I also get General Disarray.
Oh, I think that goes without saying. I think that goes without saying. Guys, we talked about it. let's take a look at these new rankings.
That's right.
Called power rankings.
Yes.
Which, honest to God, changes the game.
It does.
It does. And I like this graphic more now because they show you who moved around. There's no guessing. You don't have to go back a week and look or anything like that. They just show you right now who's moved up. And I assume would show you who moved down next week. But I do like this layout better than in the past. And the fact they're calling it power rankings now makes more sense as far as what these are.
I respect and appreciate it. And I also like this graphic better just because I can read it easier. Half the times when I'd be trying to poorly wrap them, I would be like...
Are you poorly rapping tonight?
Yeah, are you rapping?
No, but I'll read them.
I mean, you could sing them too.
No, don't sing. Please don't.
Why not?
I could, but I'm not gonna. I will tell you that our champion is Hangman Adam Page.
I need a hangman.
And your TNT champion at this point in the night was Sammy Guevara. Number 5 on your rankings is Adam Cole.
Baby.
Number 4, Frankie Kazarian, which isn't weird at all.
Baby.
It's not weird.
You got Jon Moxley coming in at number 3.
Baby.
Not a baby. Scorpio Sky at number 2.
Baby.
Not a child at all. And guys, know who's number 1 in the rankings?
Chicago Mid Pants.
Baby.
Well, today he was just clothes because he wasn't in gear. But
he was mid, though. We'll talk about that.
He was not mid. He was perfectly perfect in every way, shape, and form. Moving on to the ladies. Your champion, Thunder Rosa. Your TBS title holder. Everyone shut the fuck up. It's Jade Cargill. Number 5, you got Red Velvet. Number 4, Jamie Hayter with the coolie. That's the coolest. Number 3, you got Anna Jay. Number 2, the Beast, Nyla Rose. And number 1, Serena Deeb. And if they are setting up Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa, even I won't have very much to complain about. Your tag team champions, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Number 5, Private Party. Number 4, the B Blackpool Combat Club. BCC. I'm always scared I'm going to say BBC. Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Number 3, you got Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. Number 2, John Silver and Nick Reynolds. And number 1, FTR.
Fear the Revolution. There's your rankings. That wasn't painful. And it makes sense now. They're power rankings. Also should note, Kate, we should note now going over those, like Moxley, I know I pulled them off the screen. I'm not putting them back. Jon Moxley and CM Punk moved up in the rankings. Nyla Rose somehow moved up in the rankings, even though she lost last week. And Red Velvet also moved into the rankings. And on the tag side, we had Hobbs and Starks move up, and Moxley and Danielson either move in or up. I don't know. There's just the up arrow. I assume they moved in. I don't recall if they were... Actually, there were no rankings last week, so I don't even know where we were 2 weeks ago.
And now this makes more sense. We know why there were no rankings, because they were reformatting them. My only thing is, it's weird that Bryan Danielson is not ranked and Jon Moxley is.
No, I agree.
Well, Jon Moxley beat Bryan Danielson.
But Bryan Danielson has like 1 loss on the year, right?
Couple. I guess Moxley.
2, yeah, and Page.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, they're lining up a whole bunch of stories. Let's get to it. Walking through Dynamite tonight. Led off the show hot with CM Punk joining commentary for Cash Wheeler versus Dax Harwood in an Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifying match. Let's cut to the end of the match, and then we'll get into kind of some of the post-match. We'll talk about it, but it was, I thought this was an excellent match. Dax Harwood wound up winning by pinfall with the small package reversal to qualify for the tournament over Cash. There were definitely moments during this match too where commentary was doing, I felt, a great job saying this. And CM Punk, I'll give him credit. There were moments where Punk was saying, now you're sort of getting into uncharted waters because you're hurting your partner, right? Like you're damaging your partner's knee, you're pile driving your partner, so you're sort of putting your team at risk now, trying to get in a singles tournament. So I thought that was a great job by commentary all around, to kind of give you a sense of how important this tournament is to, these competitors. But yeah, what a great match. The little things that were done during the match, like Cash getting poked in the eye and Dax trying to, go over and basically apologize and then having his hand slapped away. Cash knocking Dax off the top rope. So he almost fell off to the outside of the ring. Just really great stuff where you thought that maybe this could lead to some sort of weird blow up of this team. They were fine by the end of the match. But boy, this was so much fun. I thought this was a great match, and they hyped it up well from last week. Even the Road to Dynamite this week had a great video package about this match. If you haven't seen it, you can go to the All Elite Wrestling YouTube and check it out. But I thought this was a great way to start the night. A lot of hype around this match. Kate, I'm going to go to you because you're a mid Punk mark.
There was a pause there, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah. What did you think of the match and your boy on commentary?
So I loved it. I can't wait to see whatever wonderful people on Twitter are going to splice some of the spots with Brett and Owen, because there were definitely a few callbacks to that in there. A couple of uses of the sharpshooter as well, which was just nice. Someone had mentioned this on Twitter, that one nice thing about this tournament is that the tournament is very much about like Owen Hart and the prestige of wrestling. It's not like they're chasing title cash-ins or whatever like that. It just seems to be about the merit of the tournament, which is refreshing. Like that's not something we see a lot. Loved Punk mentioned it, and then they mentioned it a lot in general. Yeah, that talking about the fact that you're doing damage to your tag team partner, I thought was a really nice touch. I also liked Punk saying, I didn't like these guys because they're with the Pinnacle. Like, I love little things that make sense like that, to say, like, I'm not fully a heel, they're not fully a face. Like, I don't like who these guys hang around with. I just thought was a really nice touch to keep that included in there. And just, yeah, I thought he was great on commentary, doing little things that made sense, talking about the person that Owen Hart was, in addition to the wrestler. I thought was a really nice touch, because FTR has been pushing this thing of that they're family so often. And I also appreciated commentary saying that they are just shy of 600 matches as a tag team together, which is insane. And this is the first time they ever faced each other. So just a really nice nod to their career. The in-ring action was fantastic. I loved how much this was just so much fundamental storytelling. The tension that they built was great. The intentional eye poke, the low blow that was a little bit low, like things like that, I thought were just really nice touches. And then, my goodness, like the superplexes and even just like the way the chops were laid in, it was done with this just like, I'm here to win this match, but it was such a like show of respect for who they are as individual wrestlers. I liked Dax winning. I thought there was a part that might put Cash over, just because I feel like Dax is the hot hand right now, and neither of them are going to win, so it probably doesn't super matter. But I thought this was a great way to start the show. I thought it was really fun, and such a nice tribute to everything that they wanted it to be, to their own careers, to Owen Hart, to the merits of professional wrestling. Like, they are on a historic run, and they have earned every ounce of it. This was a really fun way to start the show.
Should also mention that they were wearing their Hart Foundation tights and boots. Yeah. So just a great homage. Also, Kate, you mentioned like the things they were laying it in, on each other pretty heavy handed. It also, it was great to see that, because it sort of showed the importance of this tournament to some people, doing it for the out of respect for Owen, right? And that these two guys clearly cared about it, and they've both been outspoken about how much Owen and Brett and the Hart Foundation really meant to them coming up. So I thought it was fantastic.
Just that one spot in particular when Dax went to put Cash in the sharpshooter and just like he had that hesitation of like, am I really about to do this to this guy? Like, I just loved the way the tension would swing back and forth. I thought it was everything that pro wrestling match should be in so many ways, and like no flash, just storytelling from bell to bell. Really good stuff.
No flips, just fists.
That's right.
Schlong, what do you think about the opener?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not going to try to reiterate too much what you guys said because you guys covered so much of it well. But everything was laid out perfectly, from putting Punk on commentary to having them walk out together but out of the separate tunnels, to every plot point they hit during the match, to the end when Cash was smiling. He just lost, but he smiled because he was smiling, but not like, oh, I'm happy I lost, but in that like, oh, you son of a bitch, you got me. Like that you would smile at your friend beating you. What I liked, you were pointing out how commentary talked about the important, how, you know, you are hurting your partner at some point, and this is, you know, this is different, this is dangerous. What I like about that is there's two ways to do that, and one way sucks, and it's very, I'm not going to point out what company it sounds like, and then there's another way, which what they did tonight, which is very good. The way that sucks is to do it like, are they going to turn? Is this going to be the end of their friendship? Is this going to be it? And I didn't want that, because that would have been terrible. What I like for this is like, no one doubted they were going to stay friends. It was a question of, are you fucking up your long-term prospects? And that is a way better story to be told between these two. So I was very happy they went that route. It also is the first match of this entire thing that really made you feel like the tournament mattered. I'm not saying the rest haven't been that way, but they've been all qualifying matches, and they've been people like, you know, the women's side, it's been all unsigned talent versus signed talent. The men's have had a couple matches, but they haven't, no one's been like, this is huge. This is the first time where it's been like, oh, this tournament really matters. And I think that's important for the tournament, because at some point, if you want this to be meaningful for Owen, you have to establish it's important to people. And matches like this are what do it. And the women are kind of doing it through their words with, you know, Hayter and Tony Storm and Britt Baker. And I really appreciate what they're doing with them. We'll talk about that later. But this was the first match where they're like, no. This is important, hugely important to the competitors.
Just a fantastic way to handle this match and the build to it. It was all done really well. And we'll see what's next for Dax, but we did find out what's next for CM Punk. They did show the package of last week, him going up the ramp and the stare down with Hangman. Now, it should be noted, Hangman did put out that he wasn't there tonight because he's got the COVID snots. So Hangman was homesick. But they announced
he was sick with what?
COVID snots.
The COVID snots.
Yes, he did put that in his tweet.
It's so good.
Yeah. But they did announce tonight that CM Punk will face Hangman Adam Page at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship. Kate exploded off of her couch in that moment. I know it. And that's when CM Punk got up from the commentary desk and got on the mic. And he said he'd never been in a better locker room. He asked himself the question when he came back if he could still do it. And now he can probably stand there and say, yeah, he can do this. He's a fan of Page, and not to disparage anyone he shared a ring with, except maybe Eddie Kingston. But everything up to this point has just been a warm-up. He couldn't promise us a win, but he can promise that he's going to give it all he's got, because without us, there's no him, there's no comeback, there's no Double or Nothing title match. He's never been a gambling man, but he will always bet on himself. And at Double or Nothing, Page is going to know he's been in a fight with CM Punk, and he'll fight until the wheels come off. So, I'll say this, Kate. I like the title match. I think we've been leading to this and wondering when CM Punk's going to kind of get a shot. So I don't mind that. I didn't necessarily love this promo. Like, I got what he was doing, but I thought there were moments where this felt rushed, and I think he was rushing through this because there probably wasn't a lot of time, but it just seemed a little clunky to me, but the point definitely got across.
I feel like in a month from now, we're supposed to know that this promo was supposed to feel a little generic John Cena-y. I did not put two and two together that Double or Nothing is also happening in Vegas, where the pipe bomb happened. I think there is going to be some delightfully generic, my best, your best promos going into this match, and in the match, CM Punk is going to do something deliciously heel turny. This is not going to be like a lot of the other slow burn heel turns that we've seen, and I don't even think it's going to be a promo. I think he's going to cheat to win the title, and I think the next couple of weeks are going to be this generic "I respect you" type stuff going into it, face versus face. And man, oh man, I also noticed he was wearing a "Sick of It All" shirt tonight. I think he's getting sick of it all with this babyface stuff. The way he was like pandering to the crowd so heavily, like that all felt very intentional to me. It did feel a little clunky, and I think there were a few things today that felt a little rushed timing wise. I felt like the show was great, but it was loaded, and there were things that were off timing wise. This was a little bit one of them, but I think you're gonna get some John Cena promos the next. I think you're going to be very close to hustle, loyalty, and respect. The Eddie Kingston thing killed me, and Eddie Kingston immediately tweeted like, "Who fucking cares, Punk?" or something like that, which I just love stuff like that so much. But yeah, it wasn't great. I don't think it was supposed to be. I think this was all a little bit by design, like the way because he said, "I'm gonna make this short and sweet," and then was like walking around the ring to the crowd and stuff like that. He's too intentional of a guy for that not to be on purpose, I think. But I of course am excited for that as a CM Punk mark, but also I think the next few weeks of programming here, assuming that Adam Page is okay, are going to be the emotional investment that people have felt like has been lagging since the Danielson story. I think we're going to win it back with the straight edge dickhead versus the drunk cowboy stuff leading into this.
I will say this. First of all, Sick of It All. Great band.
Great band. And
it was funny. Friend of mine, artist of the Mark Order podcast logo, hardcore frontman for the banner, New Jersey hardcore music aficionado Joey Southside was texting me during the show, and when this promo came on, he said even that Sick of It All shirt couldn't save this promo. I had to agree. So it was just funny. Schlong, I'd like your perspective on everything Kate said, because I wasn't even thinking about any of that. Do you put any anything behind the fact that Punk is going to go heel here?
Well, I do agree that I think that's probably his end game. Which heel Punk's going to be tough because he's still going to be cheered. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything to get the crowd to hate him. I don't think Hangman at this point, beating Hangman at this point, does that. Because Hangman's had a little bit of a run here, but I could be wrong. We'll see how. I mean, they're very smart. So a couple things. One, I loved that he walked right by Kip Sabian in the box. Yes. That had me cracking the fuck up. And Kip Sabian was like doing a sarcastic laugh, which I just appreciated the character work. Asian Joe pointed it out, but I was going to point out myself. Reports were that this was heavily rewritten because Page couldn't be there. So I don't know if I agree with Kate on the heel turn. I don't know if this is going to be the promos we get going forward. This could have just been very much listen, you were supposed to have a promo with him or a stare down. Go out there, stall a little bit. Don't say anything too ridiculous because we need you two face to face before you play this out. I don't know. There's a million ways. I do agree. I think a heel turn's coming, or maybe just an edgier Punk. If it's not heel turn, it's going to be a tweener, but he can pull off tweener, so that would be okay. Not everyone can. And I think the most important thing we need to point out is that Mike Pearson tried your sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And he said they were about the same, just less greasy.
See, how's that a bad thing?
It's not. I still won't do it.
Just try it, Schlong.
I like butter.
Just try it. Yeah, I mean, listen, the other thing too, and maybe you said it and I was reading something and it went right over my head, so I apologize. Asian Joe said from his research, apparently the show was heavily all rewritten.
Yep.
So,
I said it.
okay. I was reading something that came across me, so I apologize. But yeah, I mean, listen, I buy that. You know, it just seemed like maybe this was a last minute thing they added. And again, I get what he was trying to say. I just don't think he said it as well as he could have had this been something maybe that he had prepared further ahead of time. So if this was maybe altered sort of last minute, maybe this came off the top of the head.
Can I just say, you know, I put on there's two runs that I mean, there's actually a bunch, but there's two big runs that AEW's had that they could have fucked up 10 ways from Sunday, and they haven't. First was Jade Cargill. I mean, they could have. I put this out on Twitter. They could have fucked that up, and she could be just bombed out. Like someone that green, the spotlight she was given, done fantastic. The other is CM Punk. The guy returns after 7 years. This could have been terrible.
No, it couldn't have. He's perfect.
No, it could have, because if they don't give him the right feuds, if they overproduce him, if they do,
there's no wrong for him.
Jeez, dear God!
All right, moving on.
No, you're 100% right. And when I heard him on Renee's podcast, he even said, he was like, I'm walking into an environment where there's rankings. Like, it would make no sense for me to be immediately hot-shotted into a title picture. He's like, that's not how this environment works. So yes, I joke, but I 100% agree with you.
They could have butchered it so he could be, because there are comebacks, not just because of like it was helpful that he can wrestle still, but there are comebacks even when guys can wrestle where they just lose the magic, and it has nothing to do with the wrestler, it's just whatever this, and not at all. This has been as good of a run as he's ever had. I mean, consistently great feud after great feud between matches and promos. I mean, everything's just been spot on.
What amazes me about that, and we can get back to the show, is he also came in at just weeks before Danielson and Cole showed up. And I feel like Danielson is doing the best work of his career, and that Cole is doing some of the best stuff that we've seen. I think he'll have more juice to dig into very soon, but like to have had all of those debuts at once, and be able to balance all of them, because that is a lot of star power at once. I think that's a huge testament, because getting one debut properly planned that's that massive, hard but not so tricky. Balancing all of what there is, I feel like incredibly difficult. But
hold on, Kyle K. Sparks has a hot take. Punk was good on the independents. He got better when he went to WWE. I don't know if that's a hot take. When you're at a certain, WWE does help guys get to the next level. I mean, WWE even now puts on great wrestling. It's just the stories around it suck. And they teach you how to work the hard cam and how to cut promos to like large crowds and stuff. So I can see it very easily being like, you know, that taught him all the technical stuff that he couldn't learn in the ring, that you had to go to somewhere WWE. But now he gets to take that knowledge plus his wrestling brain. And I think it's the same with Danielson. It's going to be hopefully the same with a lot of these guys, where you're seeing really smart wrestling brains who learned the other stuff at WWE and they're able to implement it. That's the best case scenario.
I think Danielson's run is one of the best runs we've ever seen in wrestling right now. And I agree. There's like AEW to me reads as a sweet spot between all the freedom that you get in the independent world and all of the resources that you get in somewhere like the WWE, production wise, crowd wise, backstage minds, all that kind of stuff. Right. So I just think that like, that's probably, for me, that's the best you're going to get, is like the artistic freedom with the resources. Is, to me, that's the sweet spot.
By the way, I think the anti-AEW bots are spamming our chat, so we'll keep an eye on it.
I don't know. I was trying to click on the link they were sending, and you just...
Well, Ryan.
Hot girls and boys video chat.
Oh, the bots are here. Anyway, let's keep moving through the show. We did get a promo too from Dan Lambert and Scorpio Sky. They're basically building to the match tonight, so we'll talk about that later. We did get Blackpool Combat Club versus the Factory. Cutting to the end of this, Blackpool Combat Club wins by pinfall with the seatbelt pin from Wheeler Yuta on Nick Camarado.
Philly boy.
So yes, Philly boy, local boy, does good, gets the win for his club. Wheeler just continuing to look really strong on television. Yes,
I meant Camarano was a Philly boy.
Oh,
is he?
Yeah, he is. He's a Philly boy.
Yuta is.
Yuta is too, but like Yuta's a transplant. Camarado is from like if we had Camarado on here, our two accents would just be fucking insane right now. Like
they
he's as bad as I am.
from New Jersey too, so maybe he came. Maybe he trained
like he's like me though, but
from the south where the Hoagies are.
But yeah, so he
the Wooder Ice.
Yeah, Yuta went to Villanova. But yeah, so you had two Philly boys, which was really nice. Yeah, give them both a chance.
I just am impressed by the match was what it was. I don't like the spot it went home on. I didn't need all three of them there. I am continually so impressed by the way that Wheeler Yuta has been made into a star through the storyline, and Wardlow has been made into a star through his storylines. And Daniel Garcia is right there, and I think Ricky Starks is starting to get right there. Like, that next wave is coming in hot right behind your MJFs and your Darby Allins, and just fantastic. I thought, like, I can't believe how quickly, not from a skill level, I knew Wheeler Yuta could do it, but like the storylines over the past 3 months have been star-making storylines, and I just absolutely love to see that when you also have Danielsons and Punks and Coles and whoever coming in. Like, it's a really, really, really strong balance right now. And this match was a great example. He was so over the second Wheeler Yuta came out there. Fantastic.
I should rephrase. Camarado is from, like me, like South Jersey. He's from Blackwood. So that it's essentially like I am. I thought he was actually Philly, but no, he's just local like me.
See, Kate. See, they all think they're from Philly. It's amazing.
Never say I'm from Philly. I thought he was.
Yeah, you also say you're Doink the Clown. Nobody knows what to believe.
No, listen, Yuta got a hell of a pop when he walked out. Jesus Christ. I love his New Year so much. And I like William Regal on commentary was great when Yuta he nailed the first drop kick. He's like on target, and then he slightly missed the second drop kick on Camarado and goes, "That one wasn't really on target. We're gonna have to work on those drop kicks." I'm like, "Oh Jesus, that is just dead on." So this was it's a weird kind of like squash match. Well, not really a squash match. I mean, they worked Yuta over for a while, but it was a weird match in some ways. But at the same point, they're just building up the resume of these three for a company that doesn't have a trios title that absolutely should.
Well, we'll see what happens for Yuta next. Kyle K. Sparks in the chat saying, I need Wheeler Yuta defending the Pure title on AEW television at some point soon. Give me Yuta versus Moriarty. I don't disagree, Kyle K. Sparks, but to a base maybe who doesn't know a lot about Pure, maybe they're slow rolling putting that on television. I wouldn't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. I just don't know if they're ready to put Pure on their TV show yet. I think maybe they're afraid it's a little too niche, but we'll see.
I think your first Pure stuff will probably be Gresham and Danielson in a Pure Rules match, and then they'll talk about the division, would be my guess. But I think before they feature the ROH stuff too heavily, they're gonna want to make sure ROH TV is in place and that they have a plan for it.
Yeah, and like I said, my thought is something Pure is more niche, different than what the television base is maybe used to seeing. Although I think a lot of the base are into Ring of Honor, right?
But even for Ring of Honor fans, Pure I always felt was a little hit or miss. So you're gonna have to be very careful how you roll that out. It's gonna be a Rampage thing if it's on TV.
Yeah,
you better hire Rick Abani to commentate it. Damn it!
You know, I think I said this a couple weeks ago when I think it was when Joe defended his title for the first time on TV, and they said something. They were leading to whoever the ring announcer is for Ring of Honor being there. And as they were leading into it, in my brain, I was like, oh my God, they have Riccaboni. Riccaboni's going to call this match.
Oh, no, it was Bobby Cruz.
Yeah, and it did. And I was like, oh, that would be so great to have Riccaboni there.
He's the best.
Anyway, let's keep moving.
Simply the best.
We get Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Toni Storm backstage getting interviewed. Britt says there's no physicality, and that's when Toni Storm introduces Britt Baker to her pal Ruby Soho. And Ruby says Britt and Jamie show up for every new girl to throw their weight around, and as Owen said, enough is enough and it's time for a change. And Ruby's ready to drop her right there. Hayter wants to fight, but Britt Baker, backs off and takes off to catering to find a snack. So clearly maybe they're lining up Britt Baker and Ruby Soho having an issue here to get to in this tournament, maybe even past this tournament. So maybe we'll get a little series of matches there because they only faced each other once for the title. And then that was it. Pretty much nothing burger.
There's one thing I liked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I like that it's treating the tournament a little seriously. Like there's, these women, they're lining up feuds within it, and that to me gives a tournament. I like that. But the second thing I liked was that Ruby felt important by being the one to step in, being like, here I'm calling in the big guns against the former champ and Jamie Hayter. I called in Ruby Soho. Like that's something because she hasn't been on TV a lot. That is something important that you still establish that she's still at that top tier.
Kate, I thought he was going to say the one thing he liked was Jamie Hayter's coolie.
I mean, there's multiple coolies to like when you have Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm on your screen in the coolie department. I mean, two of the best booties in the game, and that's in a locker room that has Sunny Kiss. So
very true.
His is still tops.
Stiff competition for sure. Oh, not even close. I very much liked this. There were multiple things in the women's division that I liked today. Yay!
Banner night.
This was one of them. This also deepens a pre-existing rift between Britt and Ruby, right? They do have a history now that was established a few months ago. We saw it live in Newark. So I like that it wasn't just like, I have a problem with you because there's a tournament. Like they already don't like each other. Ruby is as pure of a babyface as you can get. Toni and Ruby have worked together before too, obviously, in a different company, but like they both hail from the same place, so they can dig into that if they want to. And I like that we're continuing the idea of, because I do think eventually Jamie and Britt are going to split, right? But for now, they're not. So let's keep the numbers game even, and let's take two other top talents that are supposed to be a big deal for the former champ and her henchwoman. So I thought this was very encouraging, and I want better booking and screen time, right? So this is definitely more screen time, which is good. Not a ton of it, but it's more. So hopefully they don't fuck up the booking in that process as well. This was encouraging to see.
Again, I think there's a little bit of promise going to this tournament on the women's side because they did do such a good job at the last tournament building the feuds, and then even coming out of it with some of those feuds still existing. It did fizzle out eventually, but we did get a long period of stories that made sense from the tournament. So I think there's some hope that there will be something to come out of this tournament for a couple of these women in the division. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's keep moving on. We come back from commercial with a Zaddy Christian Cage and Jurassic Express interview backstage, and Jungle Boy admits that he could have won last week, but he didn't do it. And Christian Cage says that he sounds like a loser, but he's still a champion, and it won't happen again. And he's issued a challenge to any top 5 team, and that's when Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs come in and issues a challenge anytime, any place. So a couple things here. Interesting that we kind of saw last week, hey, maybe they're flipping, Christian heel, and it sort of looks like they're going that way, Kate, that there's going to be some sort of turn on Jurassic Express, because that came out a little hot tonight, and then he quickly backpedaled. So I think they are lining that up.
Yeah, Christian is so great at the role that he's there to play. And this was a big part of that. The immediately feeling like such a heel, but then pulling it back right away is such a powerful technique when it feels like a father-son relationship of some sort. When he was like, put that belt up where it belongs. I was like, and tie your shoes and tuck in your shirt, young man. Like it felt
Comb
like
your hair.
And he even said the phrase teachable moment. Like, what a fatherly thing. And old school dads, right, are like, they love you, but they can also be assholes. Like, he walked that line so perfectly tonight. I thought that was great. So that was really encouraging to see. And also Jungle Boy getting more and more comfortable with things. I am so excited about Hobbs and Starks. I think that's just going to be a blast of a tag team match because you have such different styles in there, and you're going to put Hobbs and Luchasaurus in the ring at the same time at some point. Tell me that's not going to be a blast. So, and the more Ricky Starks on my screen, the better. So I'm all for this. This was gangbusters for me.
Schlong, we were talking, I know you stepped away for just a second. We were talking about the segment with Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, and now it looks like Christian is, leaning heel here a little bit. Any thoughts on this? Anything you want to call out?
Kind of what we were talking about last week, that they're clearly setting up the Christian heel turn. I've heard, I think I was listening to Grap City this weekend. Those guys are really good. And they were talking about maybe you would do a Jungle Boy heel turn. Like, that'd be a nice twist. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be very much, obviously, a Christian heel turn. But Jungle Boy heel turn would be fun. It'd be a kind of neat swerve, bro. I will say, anytime I hear Starks and Hobbs or Hobbs and Starks, I think Hobbs and Shaw from Fast and Furious, and it's driving me nuts.
Calvin and Hobbs and Shaw.
See?
Ooh, what a mashup.
But yeah, no, I mean, this is no matter who turns heel, this is a good story. I'm interested in it. So, this is a kind of fun sub story. They're gonna have to get the tag belts now off Jurassic Express. They gave them a run, but clearly that's not the story they want to tell with them. So they're gonna have to give those bad boys to someone else. Maybe FTR. Maybe FTR is just gonna be draped in gold.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I don't know if they need it. I wouldn't mind somebody like a Starks and a Hobbs taking it. I don't think they're going to, but listen, the series of matches we can get to them having the belts taken off of them, perhaps at Double or Nothing, could be a lot of fun. So we'll see how we get there. We'll see what happens with Christian Cage, but we get into our next match of the night, and it's going to be Lance Archer versus Wardlow. Archer comes out, and then we get the MJF music, perhaps his line of the night, asking Spears how women in Philadelphia he asked what people in Philadelphia use as birth control, and he says their personalities, which, again, makes you chuckle. It's that high school humor. But he says everyone needs to keep quiet because Wardlow's coming out with no music. And Wardlow, again, does the no music entrance, being led to the ring by a horde of security in handcuffs. And then he starts to get unhandcuffed at the side of the ring. That's when Lance Archer decides to dive off of the apron onto the entire group. And we're off to the races. Cutting to the end here, Wardlow, I don't think anybody thought it was going to work out differently. Wardlow wins with the Powerbomb Symphony, which is impressive on a man of Archer's stature. But after the match, Wardlow waits, gets handcuffed, and is let off. And that's it. Now, I'll say a couple things here. One, I know we've been talking for a while about Lance Archer needing to get some wins, but this is where you use Archer in a right way. He's a monster, making another monster on his way up look really strong, right? It wasn't a squash match, but there were certainly points where Archer looked like he was going to win this. Didn't happen. And then Wardlow powerbombs him 4 or 5 times for the win. So I feel like this was using Lance in the right way to help Wardlow look super strong. Again, I want to see Lance do something and get more wins. I don't want this to be his whole story of him just losing matches to make guys look stronger, but this is definitely the right way to use him against Wardlow. My second thing, I goddamn love this handcuff gimmick. I sort of wish that they would keep this up forever. Him just walking down waiting to get uncuffed and then finishing a match and waiting to get cuffed is so great to me. I just love it. I think this whole thing is being handled great. And clearly, MJF doesn't have the answer at this point. At this point, we'll get to it, so don't spoil it, people. There's no answer. Wardlow still has, MJF's number. So, Schlong, let's go to you first. What did you think of the match? Did this work for you?
So the match was to start off with a Hurricane Rana when he gets in the ring. The first thing he does in the ring, Wardlow does. Guy that size should not be pulling off a Hurricane Rana. Yeah. And then his Swanton Bomb, which almost missed, but still looked very impressive. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of Swantons almost miss recently. I think, I'm not saying people have to script out matches, but I think beforehand they need to just properly try that move. Be like, yeah, like this is where I go. But it was really a great match, great use of two big guys. Like he said, this is proper use of Archer. I've kind of come to accept that he's never going to be what we thought he could be, which is like the monster who just dominates. He's always gonna come up a little short. But if that's the case, helping him establish Wardlow at this level is perfect use of him. MJF and Shawn Spears look at the end where they looked miserable is just great acting on their part. They have nailed the Wardlow build. I feel like I'm a positive person anyway, but I even feel like more of a shill being like, look at all these things they nailed. But how can you they have nailed this. He is the use of the handcuff thing is great. It's kind of funny, but it's also like logical in a lot of ways. Walking out with 30 security guards. Listen, any of our listeners, any of our viewers, anyone who sees this, if any of you can put all the power bombs that Wardlow has done to a symphony, I would love to watch that supercut. I don't have the talent to pull that off, so that's why I'm asking others. I just think it's like you said, doing it to Lance Archer is just so impressive. I'm so excited for when he gets his hands on Shawn Spears and MJF. I'm so excited for it.
I'll even say this, Ryan. I'll go one further about cutting to a symphony. And if anybody wants to get this into TK's hands, please do. License the music to Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth.
Ooh.
And just powerbomb after powerbomb after powerbomb. Just do it. That's the way to go. Video package leading into that MJF match. Symphony of Destruction. Bam. Powerbombs. That's how you do it. Go ahead, Kate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. You guys summarized things perfectly. It's super impressive. And, like I said with Wheeler before, like these two guys have just broken out as major players, like huge stars between pay-per-views here, basically, which is so incredible to see. The only thing I will add match-wise is I think Wardlow strength is not an issue for this guy. So having someone his own size to pick on, he seemed more comfortable. It did not feel like it was a challenge for him to get Lance Archer up, and I feel like he felt like he could slam him and throw him around a little bit more and not have to worry about breaking him like he probably does, I don't know, a Fuego del Sol or whoever. So it was just nice to see. I like this story of MJF trotting in big men because it's like, all right, well, I'll get someone bigger and stronger and faster and whatever. And he's just going to keep going there until he has to do the job himself. Right. So this is just such clean, simple storytelling. Like this is just, we saw a lot of Pro Wrestling 101 tonight and why it works. And this was kind of one of them. Like this build with Wardlow has been great. Keep the heel away from him. Let the heel have control over him, make him a pawn in whatever game, have him be playing mind games this entire time. Love the handcuffing gimmick as well. Love him throwing people that look like elementary schoolers around. That's really fun. So I think this has just been a perfectly built storyline and a well-timed one. This is not something that's dragging on too long like we see with stables or feuds like this sometimes. This has been, I think, perfectly timed. And a lot of people are in your camp and salivating for the moment that he gets his hands on him. It's going to be a blast.
Can't wait for that to come, and we're gonna have to see what's next for Wardlow. We'll touch on that later. But for now, we go to the Jericho Appreciation Society making their entrance. Guys, my favorite thing with the Jericho Society is I love before Judas hits, Parker having the voiceover with the entrance card going, for 7 weeks, your gold standard in sports entertainment, or whatever he does. It's so fantastic that he says 7 weeks, and I bet next week it will be 8 weeks. They'll keep playing this. I goddamn love it. So, they did say that before the segment, they would have this sit down, and they gave their word to Tony Khan and the AEW Galaxy. Fucking fantastic.
I popped so fucking hard for that. Like, I can't. I'm sorry to cut you off in the middle,
No,
but I don't.
That
That
was so
had me fucking dying. Like, that was probably the funniest. Like, I'm with you. I love the voiceover, love all of it. That single line is the funniest thing I've heard in a long time in wrestling.
It's just all being done so perfectly.
Amazing.
It's amazing. So there's no physicality in the ring tonight. They set the standard with that. And that's when Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, and Santana come down and they throw their chairs on the side of the table away. Also love the fact that they had it set up like a sit down in another company. Tables, chairs, water bottles, all that kind of stuff. And then as we get into everything, Jericho's basically saying that, they caused the fans of Pittsburgh, Eddie Kingston cost the fans of Pittsburgh last week from seeing the Jericho Appreciation Society, and that's what they really wanted to see. He wanted an apology. But of course they get the bird flipped at them by Ortiz. And Santana says the problem is that Jericho turned on the two dudes who had his back from the beginning, and that's when Garcia says that the threats don't mean anything because they can't hit them. And then they get into Eddie Kingston's face and everybody, and that's when Eddie says he's had enough. He starts to throw tables and chairs, says he hates this crap. And Kingston asks if he knows what the word hit means, and in his world that ends things. But Jericho asks if he's gonna hit him and get him kicked out of another wrestling company before telling him to shut his mouth and do as he's told. Eddie says he's not going to hit him. He can smell the fear coming off of him. And when you say a hit in his world, you got to be prepared to put someone in the ground. He's done it before. He's asking if Chris is ready for that. And then that ends the segment. There was also a moment in there where Jericho basically says the numbers, we have the numbers. You can't do anything to us. So, of course, and again, kind of now us breaking it down, in my mind, anytime the numbers come up, I just immediately think, when are we going to see Homicide and Hernandez? Because that's got to be what's going to even this up. And that's also what makes me think, because Tony Khan said we're going to see another Blood and Guts at some time this summer. I just feel we're going to get LAX versus the Jericho Appreciation Society in a Blood and Guts. I think that's the way to go. I think that would be a lot of fun. But I thought that this segment was no physicality, so not another beatdown. Again, we'll talk about what happens later. But right now it's just a lot of posturing, and we're clearly seeing who's serious, right, and who is playing shit heel sports entertainers, right? You can't touch us, all that kind of fun stuff. So I like where this is. I like the Jericho Appreciation Society. I didn't necessarily have a problem with this. Again, it's eating up time maybe we could use for other stuff, but I didn't hate it. So I think it's advancing the story. Kate, what'd you think?
Fuck, Garcia was great in this too. I'll just add that. He was very fun. I thought he was
the leather Kangol too, and the guinea tea, fantastic.
Just a work of art. The kind of ironic thing with this is everybody knew Garcia was a pro wrestler, right? We actually are getting to see him be really entertaining in a lot of this, like, kind of work themselves into a shoot in a really refreshing way. I think this is actually really good for Garcia. It does show another side of him. And you guys know that I'm an Eddie Mark, but one thing I really appreciated in this was him being like, do you really know what ordering a hit is? Like, like in my world, not in your world, like in our world, because that would be a homicide, right? Like to me, that is kind of telegraphing homicide is coming in. Like I don't think that's as much of a throwaway as people might think it is. But also Eddie Kingston has also murdered someone in canon, I believe. So I I think you guys know I love Eddie. He makes everything real. Loved his Bruiser Brody shirt too. The past 3 weeks he had a Churros shirt, Sarah Del Rey shirt, and now this Bruiser Brody shirt. Fantastic. And this didn't feel terribly long to me. Like I don't think I needed this segment, but it didn't feel like, oh my God, another one of these Jericho talk therapy things. The right guys got to talk. I think Garcia talking was really important. And I loved the visual of Jericho slumped down in his chair and Eddie Kingston leaving over him too. It looked like in a cartoon when the big guy overpowers the little dude and he shrinks. That was a really fun visual. So I thought this was really good. A lot of my favorites on my screen today. Selfishly, this was a really fun episode for me.
Schlong, anything you want to add here? Sorry.
I just want to add two things. One, Kate pointed out Daniel Garcia being so good when he was just shouting, "Hit me! Come on, hit me! Hit me!" That's that little brother thing where you're just like, or that like kid in school that you just want to fucking kill, and that is perfect for this feud. And then actually plays into what I said. One, Diamante put out on Twitter like, could it be? And I'm like, please go back to LAX. Like that's all I want for you, Diamante. Two, Kyle K. Sparks pointing out that Hernandez is 49 years old and has only wrestled 4 times this year and only once in the last 3 months. So while homicide seems likely, we're not sure about him. However, well, they're not really working with MLW anymore because they'll say there is an LAX somewhere else they could call in. They wouldn't really have the same. You don't necessarily need Hernandez. I'm sure you could pull someone else in to fit that. Like homicide is your big one. And I think if you throw in any fourth, whether it's, I mean, for one match, Hernandez could probably do it, but you know, homicide's gonna be
a blood and guts. Like you don't really, there's a lot
Or
that
you
you
just
can
have-
ask right in there. I think it would be cool to have Diamante be your fifth. Why not? That would be
That's
so
where I was gonna say,
yeah.
I'm seeing her tap out Daniel Garcia cracking up in my head. I don't know why that's just making me laugh really hard, but no, this was perfect. This is just a great segment. So I'm sorry. I wanted to point out that Daniel Garcia saying "hit me" just not quite as much as Galaxy. And then Mark Quill in chat said that the Jericho Appreciation Society needs to incorporate the then, now, and forever. And they absolutely do. I just got to figure out what wording they need to use. It's not then, now, forever because they're still using that.
I thought they actually
the present, the future.
I thought that they did that in one of the pre-intro packages. I thought they did something like that. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
They might have, but it needs to be consistent, like on their screen pop out, like Kate just said, past, present, and the future. Like, and then like, because doesn't WWE use like a together thing now, Kate?
They do, yeah.
Then, now, forever, together. Isn't that it now?
It's that barfy, yes.
Yeah. So it'd be like past, the present, the future. Like what another word for together? Like just as one.
Yeah, united or some shit.
United, yeah. Because that was just as much as they could become the worst caricature of the WWE, the better off we are.
It's the biggest heel you can be to an AEW fan right now. Like, it's perfect.
Well, it's not. Let's be straight, Kate. We're not AEW fans. We're part of the AEW Galaxy.
Sorry, yeah. Galaxy participants.
Sure. So, guys, we do get an annoying video promo from Sammy and Tay, so we're clearly building to the main event of the night. But we get into Hikaru Shida, I think I said her name right, versus Serena Deeb in the Philly Street fight. Here's my one beef here, guys. They spent a lot of time in the ring for a fucking street fight. Now, clearly, tables are not tables, but chairs, kendo sticks, you know, they did use weapons. There were no rope breaks. So I think that was the important thing to take away from the street fight aspect. But still, I feel like if you're going to call something a street fight, you should spend a little time outside the ring or on the ramp or something. They didn't do a whole lot of that. Regardless, we did get the chairs. We did get the kendo sticks. We did get powder in the eyes. That's not one we've seen often at AEW. But as we kind of get into this match, we do see Deeb going after the knee of Shida, so clearly working the weakness that we've seen out of Shida. A lot of heavy kendo stick hits. We do see an avalanche Falcon Arrow, but it doesn't work. And eventually Deeb is able to get the Serenity Lock on Shida. Shida gets to the rope and there's no break, but Deeb does reposition her and smashes her knee into a bunch of chair a bunch of times. And then we get the cloverleaf applied, and Deeb wins by submission with the cloverleaf. Also shows a really nice egg right on
Oh
her
boy,
cheek.
did she.
Holy shit.
Did she ever.
So Deeb gets the win here, and they go backstage to show Thunder Rosa watching. So maybe setting up the stage for Thunder Rosa and Deeb finally. We know there's history there, and at one point, Rosa was saying, I want my NWA title back because Deeb had it. And she said she wanted to win that belt and the gold. So there is some history there with Deeb, and I would certainly love to see them in a match. So let's hope that that's where we're going next. Deeb is ranked in the power rankings, right? So it seems like this was the blow off. They said this was going to be it. I was honestly surprised, guys, that Deeb came out with the win, but really happy to see her get it. So, Kate, let's go to you first. I know we've been going to you a lot, but you're a mark on a lot of this stuff, so I like to get your take first. And again, we've been critical of the women's division. You also said you liked a lot of what you saw out of the women on TV tonight, so that's why I want to get your take first.
Yes, I liked a lot of what I saw out of the women, and I liked a lot of the announcements that we got regarding Rampage and ROH title unification, which we'll get into later. But I thought this match was really strong. I'm with you, and they had another street fight that was not that was very in the ring based. I forget where it was. It might have been one of the ones in Newark, but I am also like, if you're gonna be a street fight, you got to go out into the streets, man. But I thought there were some really great spots in this. Serena was very creative offensively in this. The front bump off the kendo stick I thought was really cool. The reversal with the kendo stick I thought was really cool. I was also surprised by the booking. I just assumed it's the blow off. The babyface was probably going to win, but then as soon as I saw Thunder Rosa watching the TV, improperly, by the way, not nearly enough of a slant. She really needs to work on that. I was like, oh, duh, that makes sense. She'd all move on to something else. And Serena has momentum going into a feud with Thunder Rosa, which obviously interests me greatly. So I thought this was great. I think this is probably the best women's feud that they've had that hasn't involved a title at any point. And now that I'm saying that, I'm like, it might be like one of the only long-standing feuds that didn't involve a title, except for the stuff they were doing with the tag stuff with Tay and Anna Jay and Bunny and Penelope. That went on a really long time. But I really enjoyed this feud. I actually think Shida has come a really long way in her in-ring storytelling. I thought it was very weird that JR called her Americanized. That threw me the fuck off. That was real weird. Noting her change in style to, I think, resonate more with an American audience. But I think she's really put in a lot of work that is paying off now of being able to connect with American audiences. I think Serena Deeb is a great person to help that come along. But she's doing a lot more in-ring storytelling with facial expressions and stuff like that, which is really refreshing to see. And I don't know, I've really liked pretty much this entire feud from the get. I feel like it probably could have happened over a shorter period of time for 4 matches, but I'm glad that they did it. And this was one of those feuds that came out of the last tournament that we were talking about, right? So that's really good to see too. This was very encouraging. The complaints with Shida are rarely her technical ability, and Serena Deeb is great all around. So I think we knew in-ring wise it would be good. And having the unsanctioned style or whatever, I think was helpful in making it feel like it was a big deal. Having a blow off in the 9 o'clock slot and not the 9:30 death slot was also refreshing. So some encouraging signs in the women's division. And as far as what was in front of me as well, I thought a really solid wrestling match, really good stuff. And glad glad to see that Serena looks like she'll be heading into the title picture because she's phenomenal. And I think her and Thunder Rosa are going to have a hell of a time. I think that'll be really fun.
Couple things to note, Schlong, before we get to you. One, Mark Quill said it was 13:11 for Sheeta and Deeb, 3:05 picture-in-picture time. So pretty good length of a match for live television for the women. I feel like we generally see shorter matches, so they did give them time tonight. And
Especially for a street fight, you don't want one of those to
Sure.
be too much longer for men or women like that.
Sure.
That's too much. Yeah,
Absolutely. Kyle K. Sparks also reminds us that blah 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 blah.
That's a good point,
I saw
though,
here,
that Serena is that way.
Deeb ended Rose's NWA women's title run in October of 2020. I have a feeling that will come up for sure. Kyle, you know, we know that the history is there. They will definitely remind the AEW galaxy that that's what happened. Schlong, the third thing I want to remind you before getting your take on this was, or not remind you, but I'm not sure if you noticed, you were perfectly aligned before your camera shifted with Doink's wig. I'm not sure if that was by design.
I did. I tried it. I've been trying all night, but unfortunately it requires sitting still for a while, so that's why it gets shifted. But if I can line it up, I try to.
It was perfect. Anyway, go ahead, Schlong. What'd you think?
So I think to address one thing Kate said about stretching this out, wasn't Sheeta actually legitimately hurt for a little while there, though? I think that was part of the reason.
You're right. Yeah,
So,
she was injured. That makes sense.
But overall, this has, like Kate said, this has been the best women's feud that didn't involve a title in a long time. I wonder if, part of me goes, do they tone down the violence because they've been so violent recently? Maybe tone it down. But then, of course, you have the people online, look, Discovery's taken over. I don't buy that at all. I think in reality, it's that neither of these two women really scream violence at that level. I don't think you were ever going to get it from these two. Nor should you need it. I think this was the perfect amount. I think for them, a street fight is just more like, I can do whatever I want. Like, there's no, I could throw powder in your eyes. I could hit you with a kendo stick.
It's unsanctioned. I think they picked the town or state name to pop the audience. The Philly one, the Texas death match. Like, it's just unsanctioned.
Yeah, it's just an unsanctioned, which is fine. They don't always have to be the most violent thing, especially when you have two wrestlers who aren't violent in that way. They're just in ring violent in terms of like being overly technical strikers. Deep Rosa might be the first. I mean, Rosa Britt Baker obviously was a real story, but this might, besides that, be one of the most real, best challenger stories that we've had in the women's division. I mean, there's a history. It's based on rankings. It's what people want to see. And it's just all logically booked. Like, this isn't a challenger of the month. This is someone who's been built up over time, who's coming out of a major feud with an ex-champion. Like, it all makes perfect sense. So I'm very excited. And they had so many good matches when they were going at each other. Like, you know it's going to be good. So I really liked everything we saw here. I'm curious to see where Sheeta goes next. She kind of lost the title and then lived in this Deeb feud for a while. Between her injury, just not doing anything when she lost, just showing up on Dark and all. Then she went and got training and acting and stuff, which Kate said has really paid off. She could be a boon to their non-title stories if they're prepared to use her properly, like they did with Deeb. So hopefully they are. I know Ant doesn't really dig her too much, but I think she's fantastic. I think she's been getting, I think her biggest problem historically, and I think the reason Ant didn't like her was that you didn't know anything about her. She didn't show up. Yeah.
I find a lot of the Japanese female wrestlers boring. And I honestly find the same thing with some of the Japanese men. The style's just different. There are very few of the Japanese men's wrestlers that I like, and I couldn't tell you them off the names off the top of my head, to be honest. Like I you know, if I'm sitting watching a New Japan show, like I'd be like, okay, yep, him, he's good, you know, all that stuff. I'm not an aficionado. And the same thing
she
goes
definitely
for
has work to be American though. Like she
has certainly updated her style to be more friendly to the American audience. I think another person who did that well was Asuka, right? Unfortunately, she's just stuck in fucking limbo in the company she's at. But I mean, it's just, not Deeb. I'm sorry. Sheeta is definitely getting better. Still not my cup of tea, but we've seen better things out of her recently. I do agree. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with her. I know we're really close to the start of this tournament. I don't know if they maybe decide to slide her into the tournament. I don't know if everybody who's in the tournament actually has to qualify either. That's the other thing. They never really said if all of the seeds had to qualify, right? So if they aren't doing seeds, or if they are doing participants who didn't have to qualify, they surely could put Sheeta into the mix. But I don't know what they'll do from
They
there.
didn't really. I also want to point out, and I've said this before in the past, but I'm going to say it again. Every now and again, your internet freezes, and then your audio plays catch up, and you sound like the guy who used to sell micro machines.
The same thing happens on my end. I just don't address it, Schlong. So thanks.
No problem.
It's actually real fun. A couple of people in the chat talked about Asuka. Yes, she did just return to a feud with Becky, which will be great because that'll pick up where her story left off. Yeah, I mean, if Jade drops, you automatically have a heel that a former champion could go after. I don't know if that's the best move, but I think the tournament will be good. Like I'm hoping that, like I say it all the time, tournaments are like the perfect way to set up storylines that have nothing to do with winning the tournament. Like you can set them up right there. It's the easiest thing in the world. New Japan runs all of their programming off of it. It's great. In real sports, how many things get just an underdog wins? Like,
right.
It's such an easy way to do it. So we'll see. But encouraging developments today.
I do want to point out, Gordon Post made a good comment in the chat. Kate, you said the word unsanctioned a few times. If this match was unsanctioned, the loss wouldn't count. This was a sanctioned match. It was unsanctioned, quote unquote, for the rules, right? So
they just don't like to say no DQ.
Right.
Yeah.
They do anything they can do to say no rules or no holds barred or stuff like that. They just call it a street fight or a death match or something like that. There's always those tiny stipulations. So just so we're clear for the Mark Order Galaxy listening out there. Also, Asian Joe asked, who are the guardians of the AEW Galaxy? The Mark Order podcast. We all know that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think clearly we are Schlong is certainly Groot. I don't remember all their names except
Star-Lord?
Do the Groot dance.
What's the Groot dance?
I would have to say I'll be Star-Lord because I try to fucking lead this ragtag bunch.
You're if anything, you're Gamora.
No, I think Kate is clearly Gamora.
No, because Gamora's serious and tries to get and keep things on track, whereas Star-Lord's all over the fucking place.
I don't know.
My God, you guys
Kate's
are such fucking nerds. Who cares?
Kate, really? You went on a rant about your baseball movies and you're going to call us nerds?
Yeah, because baseball movies are cool.
Who is Batista? I can't remember the character's name.
I want to see that Drax. One. I love Batista.
Drax, that is certainly Matt.
Yes.
That is maybe the best fit.
Someone
we're
said
also
I'm
seeing
is Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Are we the Cleveland Guardians?
No, nobody wants to be that. Anyway, moving on in the night, some of the big news that came out of Dynamite. MJF and Sean Spears are being interviewed backstage by Lexi Nair. MJF calls her Lisa, I believe, and she corrects him, and MJF basically yells at her to get out of his frame, and she leaves. That's when he gets his phone out to make a call, and he asks the man on the line how he'd feel about making six figures for one match, and says that next week Wardlow's going to fight someone smarter, stronger, and who's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. So I don't know who this mystery man is.
I can't believe he's fighting Enzo.
Well, I mean, I didn't think Enzo was 7 feet tall, but
that's the weird part.
Totally weird. It's going to be interesting to see who this mystery man is. I don't know if you guys have figured it out. I sure haven't.
Jonathan Gresham.
Well, it's got to be. He's tall.
He's so tall.
So tall.
So we'll see next week.
The fun part too, I don't know. I know Ryan is wrestling TMZ, but Lexi Nair and Morrissey are dating. So
I did know that. I did know that.
He yelled at her to get out of frame to announce that her boyfriend was coming in for a one-off, which I'm good with it for a one-off. He's never struck me as someone that I'm like, he's not even in my top 10 of people I would like to see signed there. But I think for a one-off, that could be really, really fun.
Yeah, he's having a good run at Impact. So to give him like a one-off here isn't. He's known. He looks good, and he seems to have really turned himself around and really be doing well. And like I said, his Impact run's been fun. So it's a good one-off. And plus, you can't teach that.
You can't. And it is just, I find it interesting that it is an Impact wrestler. And, you know, this Impact crossover thing was done. And I'm not saying they're starting up an Impact crossover thing, but just interesting that door is still open, I guess, to having some Impact talent come in and work. So should be interesting. We'll see next week. Good. And another monster for Wardlow to look strong against. If that is what happens, maybe it doesn't wind up being W. Morrissey. We'll see. There are plenty of others 7 feet tall.
It would be Marco Stunt that is.
I wish.
Too.
I wish.
That's clearly the way I think they're gonna go when Christian turns. Right?
How fucking funny would it be though if Marco Stunt just comes out on stilts?
Oh, it'd be so much fun.
I don't need him on stilts. I need him to come out exactly as he is, thinking he's 7'2".
Okay, yeah. So this is going back to what the fuck was Bob Holly's cousin's name? Crash Holly thing, where he thought he was a heavyweight and he weighed like 180 pounds.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would work.
I just want to see Matt lose his mind.
Yeah, losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine.
Coming back from commercial, perpetual loser Fuego del Sol's laid out on the ramp in a spotlight.
Actually, this song is perfect into this storyline.
Malachi Black walks up, kneels over him as Brody King and Buddy Matthews help him up. And Black goes to take his mask off when a robed man who sounds a lot like Alex Abrahantes appears in the ring to tell them that a mask is sacred, and if he messes with Fuego, he's going to get burned. And he says they've been waiting for the right moment to blindside him. And that's when they go to the ring. House of Black goes to the ring.
But I don't want to cut you off, Ant.
Yeah.
But I moved, and this is really frightening for me.
Yeah.
Just to see that over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're creepy. It's creepy. Let's
you
move
and
on.
Doink are both creeps. Don't move. You're perfectly aligned with the wig.
Yeah, stay.
You're a clown. It works. So the House of Black goes to the ring to get to the robed man. That's when Penta Oscura shows up on the ramp, followed by Pac, and then Alex Abrahantes. And that's when the robed man takes off his cloak to reveal he's Rey Fenix behind the House of Black. He takes a swing with a shovel, misses. That's when Buddy Matthews takes it away, but Phoenix is able to hit him with a massive super kick and a springboard maneuver. I don't remember exactly what he hit him with, if it was his ass or if his hip or whatever. But they are able to take out Buddy. The Death Triangle do stand tall. And then they are able to run the ropes and dive to take out the House of Black on the outside. So clearly, it looks like Rey Fenix is back after what we thought was a terrible, terrible injury. I believe going all the way back to Newark for their last show. So
Where
Phoenix,
Jurassic Express went over, actually, right?
That is right. That is when they won. So Phoenix is back. He looks great. Pac is back. I don't know where the fuck he was, but he's back. So it will be fun to see what they line up for the House of Black and the Triángulo de la Muerte. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to call out about this.
Listen,
That it's gonna fucking rule.
Yes.
I feel bad for Fuego.
I don't.
Man got
He's a
killed
loser.
off screen. Off screen deaths are the worst. I don't care what you say. Targeting Fuego is a smart move, but that's neither here nor there. I like that. I forgot until tonight that Ray Phoenix went out before the Triangle started their feud with House of Black. So I forgot like that trio hasn't actually gone against. So it makes sense to bring back Pac and Penta against House of Black. Like you're not repeating it. You're bringing it. You're bringing in the missing piece. Like they fought House of Black without him, and now he's back, and he is such a huge piece of them. I also love Abraham being like, "I've been dressing like an idiot to fool you," and that just made me really happy. And again, I know you guys hate on Fuego, but there is something evil about targeting the most positive guy in the company. So like when you guys target me, it makes you evil. So yeah.
He just only ever dies. That's the thing.
Well, everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
All right. So we do get an interview backstage with Shane Strickland, Swerve, and Darby Allin. We're basically lining up a qualifying match coming up on Rampage. So we're building to that show, that match on Friday's Rampage. We'll cover the Rampage card and next week's Dynamite as we get to the end here. This does lead into the 10-man tag match. It's the Undisputed Elite, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Matt, and Nick Jackson versus the team of Brock Anderson, Dante Martin, Lee Johnson, and the Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman and Griff Garrison. Cutting to the end here. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead, Schlong.
Listen, we're all South Park fans, so we all have to appreciate that Gordon Post put out there that Fuego is the Kenny of AEW.
That's very true. The Kenny McCormick, not the Kenny Omega.
Correct.
No, the Kenny McCormick. Oh
You
my
bastard.
God. House of Black killed Kenny. You bastards.
I wish they would have ripped his goddamn mask off. Show the disrespect.
I've seen his face before.
Who hasn't?
But I mean, like I saw he was on WWE without a mask.
You know who else was on TV without a mask and he looked like a giant man baby? Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Looked like a man baby. Anyway, getting through this match, the Undisputed Elite win by pinfall with the boom from Adam Cole on Lee Johnson. It should be noted that pre-match, everybody except for the Bucks came out wearing their Undisputed Elite t-shirts, but post-match, Redragon pass out shirts, and everybody put them on, including the Jackson, and they pose as a group. So right now, it looks like all is well in the world with the Undisputed Elite. I don't know. I guess this match was okay just to solidify the group, but I don't really know what it was supposed to accomplish here. I think we're clearly leading to something at the Forbidden Door, maybe Double or Nothing. Maybe we see Kenny return at Forbidden Door. I know I read something late last week or early this week that basically put a timetable on when Kenny can return, and it's unlikely, it seems, that he'll be back for Double or Nothing, but more likely that he could appear at Forbidden Door, and that's really only because of all his surgeries. Like he really hadn't had all of them done or wasn't able to get them done at the same time. So he's still working through injury, and kind of coming back fully healthy. So
Yeah, he had vertigo, guys.
yeah, well, the hernia too. I believe
The hernia, his gut, his knees, his shoulders. This guy was he was a broken man. It's gonna take a minute.
I think that was the last one, the hernia surgery that he was hanging on. And it wasn't because he was putting it off. It probably just couldn't get it scheduled.
Plus, you can't rehab certain things if you get the hernia surgery first. So he probably wanted to be able to rehab a shoulder, rehab a knee. Then after they're rehabbed, then you get the hernia done.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't really know what this is meant to accomplish besides showing, hey, the band's back together, right? And we know
I liked the shirt.
The shirt was okay. And I know too, don't forget that Cole and the Switchblade last week made it a big deal that this was going to be all about the Elite and the Bullet Club. So I think that's kind of why we're heading this way. But an okay match. I don't think we thought that the underdogs were going to win, right? So
I thought Brock Anderson was going to take over. He was going to, pull out some sweet moves and just win the whole match.
I would love to get more of Armed Anderson They need to go back to Armed Anderson, him pointing his gun at people, because that was a fun period. Remember that couple months?
Arn and his Glock, of course.
I got my Glock. That was fantastic. Anyway, I don't know if you guys want to talk, mention anything about this match, but to me, it was what
Dante
it was.
and friends were fine.
Yeah, Dante just continuing to just be a star on the rise. And they even, something I should call out that they did mention during this match was, I think before the match started, the commentary said something like the 30-year-old group in this company is just stacked, and
the under 30 contingent is
yeah,
stacked.
there you go. Thank you for giving me the right terminology. Yes. And I would have to agree, look at the talent that was on that side of the ring. Are they all stars? No, but certainly just a stacked under 30 roster when you look at the depth of talent that they have.
I don't know what you mean. You have Brock Anderson over there.
Yeah, all-star Brock Anderson.
My apologies. Brock, I have the personality of a wet sponge Anderson.
Lukewarm glass of milk, Brock Anderson.
Yay! So after the match, they do go backstage, and the Jericho Appreciation Society have laid out Ortiz and Santana, and they have Eddie Kingston being held, and that's when Jericho throws a fireball into Eddie's face. My favorite part of this is Ruby Soho comes running like she's going to be able to do something. I don't understand. But
fireball.
God bless. She's keeping CM Punk and Eddie Kingston away from each other. She's just there to break up melees. There was a little Twitter debate going on about whether a fireball was necessary. And the person I know that hates the Jericho Appreciation Society the most and is fully aware he's being worked by it, was like, it is the most sports entertainer way to try and hurt someone.
Thank you. That was
it's so true. It's perfect.
If you stop talking right there, Kate, I was going to say, yeah, you do need a fireball because that's entertainment.
Oh, for sure. And his dislike of it is how effective it is. He's like, I'm totally getting worked. Like, I hate that Daniel Garcia is anywhere near this, which is the point. So he's fully aware of that in the process, but he was like, what is more of a sports entertainment way to try and hurt someone than with a fireball? And someone was like, do we really need a fireball? And I was like, why wouldn't you need a fireball? Of course you need a fireball. They should have been doing fireball shots and eating fireball candies while fireballing this fireball.
Yeah. More fire, more balls. That's what I say.
That's entertainment.
That's right. For the last 7 weeks, your standard in sports entertainment.
I should have fucking known who you were talking about, Kate, when you said the person I know who hates JAS.
My Tuesday night co-host hates it.
Well, because I knew Phil Lindsay did the tweet about why was there a fireball, because I saw it myself, and then I should have fucking known it was Alice Pulaski.
Of course.
Sorry. All good. So guys, they do hype up the cards for Friday and next week. We'll get there. Let's get through the rest of the show. We get into our main event: Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky for the AEW TNT Championship in a ladder match. This match saw a lot of stuff. It saw a ladder that had barbed wire wrapped around the rungs. I can tell you that is likely not OSHA approved. So
definitely not.
I don't know who did that, but it's definitely not OSHA certified. We saw a little melee between Paige Van Zant and everybody's favorite Tay Conti. So we saw Dan Lambert get involved and get kicked in the crotch by Tay. So it featured a little bit of everything, but I think what everybody was hoping came true. I know I was hoping this. Scorpio Sky is able to get the title by knocking Sammy off the ladder not once but twice at the end to reclaim his AEW TNT championship. He's now a 2-time championship after losing it last week, excuse me. Post-match, Frankie Kazarian comes down to square up with Scorpio Sky and remind him basically that he's owed a title shot. Scorpio shakes his hand, or they do their little, high five handshake. And Scorpio sort of acknowledges that, holds the title high. That's the end of the show. So, guys, here's the one thing I just don't understand. Why end the streak, take the title off Scorpio, just to give it back to him next week? Schlong has an hypothesis. Schlong, I would like
Evil
to know
eye
what
looking
you're
over
thinking.
my shoulder. No, because as soon as this was done, my mind went, oh, so they clearly had Sky lose the title and Sammy win to facilitate the double switch. That literally, they realized that Sammy was getting booed, and they realized that Sky was getting cheered, and they said, we need to just confirm this switch. What's the easiest way? We'll do a quick flip flop of the title because it was effective. I mean, it fully established Sky as the heel, as the baby face, and Sam as the heel. So I'm pretty sure that's exactly why they did it. It seems cheap for the title a little bit, but I think you can forgive it if you give Sky a bunch of defenses now, because now he's face, so he should have the open challenge again. So if you give Scorpio Sky a bunch of good defenses, you'll forget that this flip flopped a bit, and the pop he got for winning it was what he deserved. So I really truly believe that they were seeing the reactions, wanted to facilitate the double switch, and thought the easiest way was just do the title thing. And truthfully, it worked. I mean, Sammy was a heel before, but then he got mega heel by winning that title, and Sky became mega face because of the situation. So it's not perfect, but I see why they did it.
Yeah, I just hate them having to use the title like that, because they generally don't do that with this company, right? Like, they let guys go on runs, and we don't just hand it back and forth. I hope that they don't continue to do that with this belt. But, listen, if it's getting me to Scorpio versus Kazarian, I'll take it, because those guys are great when they work together.
The Pride of the West, SCU, and they're going to be in LA, so that makes sense. But when Scorpio Sky gives a promo and says, anybody who wants a shot at this, and Ethan Page walks down, that's going to be a moment. I don't feel like the hot potato was necessary either, but it does clarify a lot of things. It does cement Sammy as a heel. It does cement Scorpio as a face, and having a TNT title holder that's like as pure of a babyface as Scorpio Sky is going to be, I think, hopefully switches this back to an open challenge title. I thought the match itself was really fun. The only spot I didn't like was when they climbed to the top of the ladders with their respective women on their backs, and they were just basically got all the way up there to tussle each other's hair. I loved Sammy doing the spot that Sammy and Cody did in the Cody roll with that jumping off the ladder into the cutter. Was such a fun little callback. What an awesome move. Because the whole criticism was he stepped right into the Cody roll this whole time, right? What a fun piece of storytelling in this match.
Real quick, can we talk about how Sammy almost killed himself?
Which
the first move that he missed?
Yeah, where he clearly thought he was going to get more distance off the ladder and basically somersaulted down on top of his neck, and Scorpio, you could clearly see like running in to try to catch him, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. He missed that bad. I mean, it looked cool as fuck when you realized he was okay.
But yeah, that was scary and not how that was intended at all. That was bad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, Kate. I totally forgot to bring that up before.
No. That was worth mentioning. That was a scary spot. But yeah, I don't love what happened the past couple of weeks with it, but I like where the payoff is now. If Scorpio is going to be a face, he delivered a promo without Dan Lambert's help. He was just kind of standing there like a weird hockey dad in the background. That's fine. I think you're going to see Sky and Ethan Page have a hell of a feud at the end of this, and I think you're going to get SCU in California. What a fun way to go out there. But Sky deserves this, and I think now you're going to get an actual run out of him. I'm just hoping, because he's going to be such a bona fide face, that we get back to like open challenge style stuff, because I just think that is the best value of this belt that you could have.
Real quick, Kate, question, and then I'm fully with you. So I want Gordon Post is asking, do we see Ethan Page turning on Scorpio Sky? I think all of us kind of do. My question is, how many defenses do you want him to have before Ethan Page walks out and is like, it's my turn? There's no right answer. I'm just curious, like what you would view as like a good run for the TNT.
I don't know. I think you let stories and pay-per-view dictate it, because I don't actually think the next thing is for the title to go from Sky to Paige. I think Paige costs Sky in some way, and the title goes to, let's for fun say it goes to Swerve. And then the feud that you have off of that has nothing to do with the belt, and it's Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky give me that for 110 years. Like, I don't think that's going to need it, because I think it's going to be so personal. So I don't think the number of defenses matter, because I don't think it's going to be the belt switching hands to Paige.
Yeah, but one of my point being, like, he's going to lose the belt because of it. So how many defenses do you want him to have before he loses it?
4 to 6 months worth, maybe. Like, I think he should have a real run with it.
So I was thinking somewhere about 6 defenses, which would give him about 4 to 6 months, because a couple a month at the way AEW books the TNT.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think you have to give it time to build, right? I think you have to give, if that's where this is going, and I think we all think it is. I just think that they need to build that resentment, right, between Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and I think it's good. It can be done, in the right way. Ethan Page is saying, hey, I know we're friends, but I really kind of want a shot at this. And maybe Scorpio keeps putting him off. Like, hey, man, like, when the time's right. Like, I think, I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin anything. And that kind of resentment builds, like, Page.
Or what if you have Ethan Page be like the second contender, Scorpio barely eke out a win in almost like a fluky fashion, and then that's what starts the resentment of Ethan Page, that he was right there.
I don't need to see that. I'd rather actually have him keep putting him off for one reason or the other, right? And not giving him a shot. And then
but isn't that more of a heel tactic to keep putting a guy off?
I think if you're putting him off in the right way, to be like, hey, we're boys, we're partners. Like, I don't want to do that, right? Like, that can come off not heelish, right? Like, that doesn't necessarily bother me, and I wouldn't see that as a heel tactic unless he was like running from him, right? A lot of times the heels run from the pressure. So I think they could do that the right way.
I think Sky also gets a bunch of other accolades, and Ethan Page just gets mad about what's in this partnership for me. Yeah. I'm not worried about that at all. They know how to fill in the gaps with that stuff. I think Ethan Page does it about as well as anybody. So I'm not worried about how that story shakes out at all.
I was just curious.
Well, it's going to be fun to see how they get there. I think they're going to get there. And at some point, Dan Lambert's going to exit the picture with Scorpio Sky as well. So we'll see how we get there. I think we're all excited for that. And that's the show for the night. That is Dynamite. They did tell us Rampage this week. We'll get an Owen Cup qualifier. We know Swerve versus Darby Allin. Hook and Danhausen will have a confrontation. So they didn't say match. The card said a face-to-face confrontation. So we'll see what that looks like. We'll get the baddies, Jade, Cargill, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan versus Willow Nightingale, Trish Adora, and Sky Blue. Colton Gunn will get murdered by Keith Lee. And then we will have a Ring of Honor TV championship match. Samoa Joe versus Trent Beretta.
That's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, that will be good. And they both have ties back to Ring of Honor, right? And the video package they did around that was perfect. Like Trent saying how, I've got a past in Ring of Honor, but I never won any gold, So I think that that's a nice little build. Also, Samoa Joe with a great quote on saying, like, you measure a man based on his friendships, and you are rich, with friends. So I think that can be a lot of fun. The bigger news for me was the first match they announced for Dynamite next week, the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship unification match, Deonna Purrazzo versus Mercedes Martinez. I did not think we would see that on AEW television. So I have a theory there, but give me a minute. We'll get there. We're also going to get Wardlow versus MJF's mystery opponent. I wonder who it's going to be. And we're also going to get an Owen Cup qualifier, Bobby Fish versus Jeff Hardy. So here's my
The
thoughts
old
around
man match.
the old men. So here's why I think I was a little surprised about that Deanna match is, well, one, I don't think we thought we'd get it on AEW television like for free. That I don't mind. But I'm thinking maybe we're getting it on TV because we don't have a television deal or something in place immediately, right? So maybe they have to kind of give us this match. They want to get Deanna on TV, but I also think it means Deanna's signed, sealed, and delivered here.
I feel like she didn't. I feel like she resigned not that long ago to Impact, but who knows? People buy out. Impact's deals are really weird. I'm not sure, but I think a unification match being on AEW television makes a lot of sense because it's a unification match. Then you have your clarified champions going forward, right? Like so that makes a ton of sense to me. I'm just surprised they like gave us something that we wanted in the women's division on television, to be honest. Like I was like, oh wow, a lot of compelling women's television coming up. But I think that's going to be a great match. They've had great matches together in the past. I've seen them at independent shows. I think they had one on Impact as well, if I remember correctly. So I'm very hopeful about that. I think that's going to be fantastic. And I think that's nice because I think now all of your ROH championships are clarified. There's no more unification. There's nothing hanging out there like FTR and the Briscoes was. Like everything is super, super clarified once that's taken care of. So that's, I think that's wonderful news for a lot of reasons. And I would hope that Deanna is signed. That would be excellent news as well.
Yeah, Kyle Kispark saying he thinks Mercedes has to pick up the win. Deanna's tied to Impact. I don't see that changing. Yeah, I don't know. You never can say never. If they buy out a contract or maybe they work out some sort of deal, right? I mean,
Impact
could.
puts titles on people that aren't signed there all the time, and they also do appearance deals, so it's just hard to. The Impact contract picture is very blurry.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think that Ring of Honor and AEW would benefit from having a female wrestler like Deanna as part of their stable. So I think you do anything possible to try to get her as part of your company, if that's buying her out or.
That's what they did with Rosa and NWA. Yeah,
absolutely. So, guys, some news and notes from the past week. While nothing has been set in stone for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, the expectation is most of the matches will be AEW versus New Japan, but nothing's locked or set in stone at all yet. It could feature those intra-company matches, but I think that's maybe what people are sort of looking for with that announcement, right? You have AEW versus New Japan, but who knows? They can go a lot of different ways. With that. So just worth noting. There was also rumors that that Darius Martin recently suffered an injury again and is out. The rumor was for an extended period of time, although Darius did go on Twitter and said that what he's dealing with has nothing to do with wrestling, but he's glad to see everyone else seems to know more than about my health than I do. So not really sure what's going on with Darius, although this is the second week where we haven't seen him on TV and Dante's still appearing. So don't know what's going on. There's a lot of competing reports out there, so we'll see what happens. There were also rumors. I think this is the other thing I saw. Rumor was Daniel Garcia was originally talked to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club, and I think we had all kind of hoped that was going that way. But the word is that Jericho handpicked Garcia to sort of join his little club. So, I don't know if that's true. Again, rumors, a lot of he said stuff, but I love what Garcia is doing right now. So I don't need him to shift to Blackpool Combat Club or anything like that yet.
I think the Appreciation Society is better than the Blackpool Combat Club for him. He had already kind of established himself as such a badass wrestler. This is helping his personality side of things, which I think makes him a more well-rounded. I think it'll make him a more well-rounded character in the future. So I think for him, this was perfect.
Yeah, it's it's just perfect for him right now. I think prior to the Jericho Appreciation Society, he was like that very serious wrestler, right? Like the Red Death, Daniel Garcia, always serious in the ring. Now seeing him play this other side is just fantastic. I love it so goddamn much.
I think the payoff will be that he goes to the Blackpool Combat Club anyway. Like, I think we'll eventually get to that point. But like,
sure.
I'm having fun with this. Why not?
This is perfect. Yeah. The other thing that happened over the week was Gresham got pulled from the Impact pay-per-view. He at some point in his match with Dalton Castle, apparently maybe suffered from a minor concussion. He was checked for concussions after the match. It's believed he was injured by the gut wrench suplex. And Gresham was also pulled from matches for Progress on April 17th and 18th. Clearly those dates are past, but he was also removed from Rebellion. So hopefully Gresham is not dealing with something. Go ahead.
He wrestled that weekend. I was reading on Twitter when that happened. They think the reason he was pulled from Rebellion, he did have the concussion, but then he wrestled for an indie promotion. They think that where Rebellion was held is under a certain athletic commission, and they think they're the reason they cut it. They wouldn't, because of how close the concussion was. They just refused to let him wrestle.
Well, either way, let's hope it's nothing long-term for Gresham, because the more we see him on TV, the better. We'll see what happens with Gresham next. Nothing scheduled for AEW, but I'm sure they're just trying to figure out what's going on with Ring of Honor. Guys, Pat Buck is working for AEW. That's been confirmed. He left the WWE following WrestleMania 38 after 2 or more years working as a producer and talent relations rep. I think he also produced Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair and that was co-produced by him, I should say. And also, I'm sorry, let me get this straight. He produced the Ronda Rousey Charlotte Flair match, co-produced the unification match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and now he put up a tweet saying life is short, work somewhere else, and him kind of superimposed over AEW. So it looks like he's working with AEW, probably a better schedule for him because he can, spend time at AEW. They do one show typically a week, and he can spend time with his family and do other stuff. So looks like Pat Buck's with the AEW.
Hope he does a better job producing matches in AEW than the ones you mentioned for Mania.
Well, I'm just saying. And then again, we mentioned the big news of the evening was that Hangman Adam Page was out of Dynamite tonight. His exact tweet was, Dynamite is tonight at 8 p.m. on TBS, but I will not be on there because my face is full of COVID snot. Sorry, please enjoy regardless. So let's hope Hangman Adam Page gets over his COVID quickly, and we can get him back on television, building to this Double or Nothing pay-per-view with what Kate believes is a heel-turning CM Punk.
Oh, I think it's going to be babyface until the match, and then he's got to do something sneaky. Get those boos raining down on him.
He can play both. So we'll see what happens there. But guys, that's all the news and notes I got this week. Anybody have any other news or notes? Anything you want to discuss?
No.
Nope. All right. Well, we know Matt's not here, but Monday nights you can check him out on The Shining Wizards, 7 p.m. Monday nights. I was listening for a part of Monday night, and of course they bait and switched us, Kate. No Maria Kanellis.
I know.
It's a B-show tactic, if you ask me.
That is a B-show tactic. That's exactly what that is. We would never do that on the A-show.
No, never. We're truthful about everything. So check out Matt Monday nights and Wednesday nights here when his schedule allows it. He's starting to get into the busy season, so we might not catch him here on a lot of Wednesdays, but we love when he's here. So stay tuned. Hey, maybe we'll have some guests. Who knows, over the summer when Matt can't be here.
I like
Kate,
that idea.
when you're not here and you're not sleeping, what are you doing?
I wish I was sleeping more. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Kate Vabe. You can catch me on Tuesdays doing whatever the fuck we do after NXT 2.0. It's mostly a weird variety show now. After the NXT on Fightful YouTube, you can also catch me here every Wednesday and Fridays on AEW Rampage and SmackDown Review on the main Fightful YouTube channel. And I've been invited on to just random episodes of Sour Graps behind the paywall as well. So keep an eye out for that because sometimes Alex needs someone to be angry with at Raw and SmackDown.
Right. Schlong, what are you doing when you're not here?
Well, you can find me at Twitter at Miss Kate Fabe. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I am live tweeting Dark and Elevation, and by live tweeting, I mean just doing random thoughts about the wrestlers I'm watching on my screen, and I do that from the podcast Twitter, which is Mark Order Pod. The rest of the week, when I'm not here on Wednesday, I'm just at that Twitter, so if you want to engage in fun wrestling conversation, feel free, or any conversation, I'm willing to have it. Other than that, just so schlong and good night.
By the way, I did catch this before and I forgot to mention it. Mark Quill, thank you for the reminder. There is AEW video game news next Wednesday. I think they're going to show some gameplay and maybe even give the title, maybe a release date. So we'll see. But that is there. Sorry, I forgot about that, guys. Everybody who's watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Mark Quill, Kyle K. Sparks, Marky Mark K. Fabe,
Everyone in the
Post.
Mark Order Galaxy.
Yes, thank you, everyone who's part of the Mark Order Galaxy. So thanks for everybody who's watching along live. If you're listening to us in podcast form, we appreciate it. Just make sure if you're listening, you rate, review, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do on the podcast platforms, so it helps us show up in the algorithms. And if you have never tried watching us on the video format, certainly give it a try. Head over to our YouTube and check out all of the craziness. Last week, Schlong was not on camera for almost the whole show.
That's so
Tonight,
nice.
it was nice not having to look at his punum. But tonight,
you guys.
Tonight he had his Doink lined up, so it looks like he's wearing a clown wig. He tried to talk through Doink's mouth. It was hilarious. But then Schlong, we're gonna have to make that work because we can do like that old Conan bit. Remember when they would have the celebrities on?
That's honestly what inspired me to do this.
We got to figure out a way to make it work. We can make it work. So if you've never checked us out in video format, certainly do that. Check us out on YouTube. You can subscribe there and watch the videos anytime. Find us on our social at Mark Order Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff. But if you go to any of our socials, you can hit the link tree. You could find links to all of our social platforms. Subscribe to YouTube. Also, request free stickers, guys. We have these free stickers that you can get. All you got to do is hit the link tree, hit that top button that says request free stickers, give us your name, your address, the country
Social
you live
security
in.
number.
No. Stop you and Kate spreading fake news. I'm going to call the PC police.
Blood.
Got her. Got him. So send us that, and then I will send out some of these free Mark Order podcast stickers.
You were so sincere when you said it.
I'll send you your free stickers. I'll send you your free stickers. You don't have to worry about sending any postage or anything like that. I'll send them anywhere in the world, so hit us up.
Just pay shipping.
No, stop it with the fake news and the false narrative. I'm trying to control my narrative. Yeah, get your free stickers, do all that fun stuff. And guys, stay tuned. We will hopefully have some news coming down the pipeline about fun stuff
in the Mark Order Galaxy
in the
about
Mark Order
t-shirts
Galaxy. I
and our
promise you.
website
I promise
and
you.
our video game that we have.
Hey, whoa, video game. That's not news we were supposed to release yet. No, I can
Leisure
tell you
Suit
guys.
Anthony.
Wow, a Leisure Suit Larry callback. Wow. No, I can honestly tell you guys, we are super close to t-shirts. Stay tuned because a lot of people have been talking about t-shirts. We have them. I have to just get the designs sent over and figured out. Once we get that all set up, we'll put it in our link tree. We'll let you guys know where you can go buy some shirts and do all that stuff.
We're literally an email away from t-shirts.
No, I have to work on some of the design stuff, but I have to get the formats right. So I just want to make sure that I don't send over the wrong thing and the t-shirts come out looking way fucked up. So I'm working on that. Stay tuned, guys. It's coming. Mark Quill, the constellation of Marks.
Ooh.
I do like it.
Kyle Case Marks also made me corpse with his comment. So
Twitter Jack's about to deplatform you?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be hard to do when Twitter Jack isn't there anymore, but
it's true.
It's okay. So, guys, that's it from us tonight. We'll be back next week. We'll see who's here. Kate, always a pleasure. Ryan,
thank you, sir.
A lot of fun.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, Kate, aren't you doing a live wrestling show, by the way?
Oh, yeah, May 7th. I'm at Excite Wrestling. Well, we got some time.
Tweet me words for Kate to say.
Yeah, tweet at Mark Order Pod for words to try and get into the Excite Wrestling broadcast. One of their head trainers actually passed away, so yeah, like super recently.
Fucking 37 years old. It's so young.
37 of a heart attack, just really sad. So that I think will be turning into a memorial show. So keep that in mind as you're tweeting your.
So please, everyone tweet Thumb Dumpster.
Seriously.
All right, easy. But yeah, I'll be back on the commentary desk on March 7th there. That should be a lot of fun. So tune in on their Twitch.
So like Kate and Ryan said, submit words for Kate to say on broadcast for that show. And what we'll do, here's what we'll do, guys, right? If people send us stuff, we'll pick our favorites. I think we should pick our favorites. Kate can pick one. Ryan, you pick one. I'll pick one. Matt picks one, and we'll put up a poll, and then we'll go that way.
I'm in.
All right. So send us your words. We'll keep track. We'll pick words, and then we'll put up a final poll. Good. Yes, Matthew. Plus, we're still recording. We have to get to 3 hours. We're stretching now.
Nobody likes you.
Listen. Hey, wait a minute.
No, he's got a feud going with
heel
Katie.
To me on Twitter.
I don't care. I love being a heel to you all the time. It's
so much fun. I can only deal with so many of you in a given 24-hour period.
It's so much fun being a heel.
You're really...
I'm trying to get to Forbidden Door too, guys. So, let's if we're serious about doing that, that's fine. But I got a couple irons in the fire, so we'll talk about it off air. If anybody's going to Forbidden Door, let us know. If you want to give us tickets too, if anybody's
irons
got a
in
free
the fire, are those like spoons in the porch?
I wasn't gonna be party to gimmick infringement, but I guess so, Kate.
Of who? That guy that comes around every so often?
Oh snap!
B-Show Matt? Who cares?
B-Show Matt. B-Show billionaire Matt. It's funny. Here he's millionaire Matt. On the B show, he could be billionaire Matt. He is inflating his numbers for the other show. It must be exchange rate.
Or, just trying to look good over there.
Well, either way. All right, guys. We're getting the fuck out of here. Tune in next week for the Mark Order podcast. We love you all. We thank you for listening. And we will see you next week.
This concludes the Mark Order podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.